Welcome, Week 13. I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Ryan Mackey, who you can find on Twitter at Mackey_FFB. We're also joined by Dan Park, who you can find on Twitter at ParkFFB. How's it going, fellas?
It's going good, man. Ready for some football.
Football?
You're not ready for
What's
football.
I actually get a nice week off from my Titans getting beat up past couple weeks. Get a chance to regroup and get back into win column.
You guys gotta get healthy.
Yeah, it's so bad.
Yeah, they're doing all right though. For backup wide receivers and running backs.
They're coached pretty well, so I can't complain too much.
Nah.
Didn't they say on the broadcast last week that they had the most ever practice squad call-ups in a week last week?
Yeah, there was I think it was roster moves. They have 83 or something like that, dude. It's insane.
They had to move 13 guys up from the practice squad or something like that.
Yeah.
Move guys to IR and they need to get healthy.
But I'm honestly surprised about how well Foreman's looked.
I was surprised last week. He was a big shock to me last week for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't surprise. Well, I like Deontay Foreman as a fill-in for Derrick Henry, just the size and everything. But he has looked pretty good. I mean, Dontrell Hilliard's really the surprise. I mean, I didn't expect him to be viable ever again. But
just both of those guys against New England's defense, I was like, there's no way I'm trusting either of those guys. I feel like they're just going to force Tannehill to throw these backup wide receivers, and they ended up getting ran all over, and I was just kind of surprised by that.
Yeah, and they still lost.
Yeah. New England's legit, so.
No, they're not.
No.
They just beat up on a dead Titans team. We'll find out. They might kill the Bills.
We will find out. Well, we lost to Jacksonville, so maybe we won't find out anything at all.
You never know. Who knows? Ryan, is it Javonte Williams week?
Yes.
So you're trusting him, starting him in full confidence against the Chiefs defense?
I was starting him in
much
full
better
confidence
against the run.
I was starting him in full confidence with a Melvin Gordon in the lineup.
Wow.
Ryan, this is the week that we've been waiting for all year.
It really is.
It's finally happening.
Me and Dan have been talking about this all preseason. Once he got drafted to Denver, basically all year, saying that once he gets the role, I feel like he's just not going to give it up. And I mean, Melvin's still going to have a role even if Javonte does go off. If he goes bananas today, I still think Melvin has a role, but I think you see that shift really occur if he does go off this week.
Hopefully it's a 70-30 split when he comes back. That would just be nice.
I tweeted out something earlier that I was really surprised about, the fact that Javonte averages 8.7 yards per carry against a stacked front, so 8 or more guys in the box, and then he only averages 3 yards a carry when there's 7 guys in the box. I thought that was weird.
Yeah.
Seeing as how you would think it'd be the opposite way around, but
doesn't make too much sense. But
find out which way is the true way he's going to look.
It kind of makes sense if you really think about it. So think about it. If you have a stacked box, all your defenders are closer to the line of scrimmage. You make 1 or 2 moves, and then you probably have 5 or so yards before you're hitting the next defender. In a non-stacked box, you have defenders spread out further. So it actually could be a negative stat if you think about it. And I like Javonte. But if you think about it, so if you have a non-stacked box, maybe he's not making that second defender miss. And hence, he's only getting 5 yards. Where in a stacked box, you have your 8-10 guys already at the line of scrimmage. And you break through that line of scrimmage, and then you have some open field.
Yeah, but he's higher up there in
I know he is in broken tackles. I'm just saying.
Tackles. So
I'm just saying that hypothetically that could be the reason that it looks such a big discrepancy there.
Yeah.
I'm just a thought.
I will say though that having Chris Jones back for Kansas City is a huge boost for the run defense. That he has definitely changed how their defense has performed the last couple of weeks. So it's not as good of a matchup as it was, say, 4 or 5 weeks ago, but still for the year they're still allowing 24 points in PPR to running backs, still allowing 4.4 yards a carry. They're
playing a lot better as of recent, though. They're
no doubt.
stepping
They're
up.
definitely playing better.
But yeah, it's Javonte all day. Let's go.
I mean, I'm starting him literally everywhere. I'm starting him over Devonte Smith this week.
I actually like Smith a lot this week with Minshew. Is Minshew starting? Is that like a for sure?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I like him a lot this week.
Where'd you see that it's for sure?
I saw a thing come across my phone this morning when I woke up.
Oh, all right. Yeah. I was going to say, I knew they were going to try and test him this morning and then go from there. So, well, Hurts, not Minshew, but
yeah. If I read it correctly, I mean, it was like very first thing when I woke up at 6 o'clock this morning. So it very well could have been my eyes deceiving me. But if I remember correctly, it did say that he was for sure going to be out. Because I picked Gardner Minshew up and Scott Fish. And I'm probably going to start him over Matt Ryan.
Really?
Matt Ryan's been so bad that he's given me no reason to trust him to start him. And I only have Kyler as my other quarterback. I've been running with one quarterback basically this whole time Kyler's been out. So if Kyler doesn't play again, it gives me another quarterback I can play.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. I think Gardner Minshew against the Jets should be very interesting. I'm curious to see if Nick Sirianni reels him in or if he allows him to kind of be what he was in Jacksonville, which was a pretty viable fantasy quarterback, willing to throw the ball pretty much anywhere and to anybody. So it could definitely help. I like Dan had said, I do actually like Davonte Smith today against a secondary that's fairly strong. They're not the worst, they're not the best, but they're a middle average kind of secondary. So I'm curious to see. I feel like last week was a little bit of an outlier. He only scored, I think, 9 points, but Jalen Hurts, I think, only threw for 150 yards last week. So, yeah. I mean, how much can you really expect out of a fantasy wide receiver when your quarterback's only throwing that much?
Right.
Where I think the Jets, I don't know who's better, honestly, Giants or the Jets, but I don't know. I just think that there's a higher upside for Devonte Smith this week than people probably think with missing Jalen Hurts. I worry a little that there's some chemistry problems necessarily. I don't know how many reps they've had. I'm assuming Gardner Minshew took most of them all week, but there still could be a little bit of that. But
I think he's a much better passer than Hurts is. And if he can just get the ball to Smith and let him make plays, I think he's in for a big week this week.
Yeah, I mean, I saw some. I don't remember. I know Luke. I think
Gardner's a better thrower than.
Yeah, why wouldn't he be?
Yeah,
it's definitely possible. Gardner Minshew's not terrible.
No,
I think everybody. I mean, statistically, even like I was gonna say, I think I saw it was Luke Sawhook this morning. I think he retweeted it. I don't know the original tweet, the person who made the original poll or whatnot, but. I mean, Gardner Minshew's stats are almost arguably better than Baker Mayfield's. So I'm just saying. It's not like he's –
and he was making DJ Chark look extremely good. And I don't know about you guys, but Smith is way better than DJ Chark, in my opinion.
Yeah. And, I mean, I like DJ Chark, but he's not on that same tier. Devonte Smith could be a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL, staying healthy and continuing his trajectory. And where DJ Chark, I feel like he's possibly a top 24 wide receiver. It's just like he needs to do a lot more than what it seems like. There was a lot of talk out of there that Jacksonville just didn't like him. I don't know if it was a work ethic. I don't know what it was. He might just need a change of scenery, but the talent's there for DJ Chark. It's just purely getting it all produced. So, but yeah, I honestly don't hate Devonte Smith this week.
No, I don't hate him. I'm just starting Javonte Williams over him as well.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't hate it. In theory, Javonte Williams should have a really, really good game. The question really is what if he doesn't? You know what I mean? Like,
if the Chiefs keep playing like they are, good God, that could be bad.
Like, let's be honest. Right now, you're not going to touch Javonte Williams for pretty much anything at the current moment coming into this week. But hypothetically, what if he puts up 10 points against the Chiefs tonight? What's it do?
I mean, it would
strictly
depend. It would strictly depend on the game.
This game literally means everything, but it doesn't. This game means everything for Javonte Williams' fantasy value, because if he comes out and he only gives you 10 points, most people aren't necessarily going to look at that game script. I mean, this is what you wanted and what we've all wanted to see is him in a lead role, and you have to be able to produce even against the Chiefs defense, who is middle of the road. Yeah, they've been better, but they're a middle of the road run defense, and you should be able to, if you're a top 5 dynasty asset like running back, like I expect 20 points. If I don't get 15 to 20 points out of him in a lead role, I mean, what are you going to pay for him? Do you know what I mean? Like, he's not a top 5 pick next year if he doesn't do that, in my opinion.
Well, the Chiefs could easily go out to a 28 point. Like, they could easily score 28 and, like, put the Broncos in a huge hole. Then they're playing catch up, and he's not really getting the rushing attempts. So I don't know. I mean, he's got to produce today for sure, but it's the Chiefs, and they're playing pretty well. So.
But here's my thing. It could be – I think it is a good week for him. But going against the Chiefs defense, it has been better. It's supposed to be a bad weather game. And if they get out to an early deficit where they're down 10, 14 points almost immediately, I don't think it would be fair to judge his performance based off of that if that were to be the case. I think it would be a much easier way to judge him if it was a neutral game script the majority of the game and then see what he did. You know what I mean? Like, if they get down quick and in a hurry, yeah, it could lead to more passing opportunities, but they have Judy and Sutton and Fant that are all going to take passing targets away. And if they aren't able to establish a run early, then it's kind of hard to make that judgment against a high-powered offense like that, knowing that it could be a bad matchup where all the chips just fall negatively for him.
Yeah, but we're not talking top 12. We're talking people are talking he's a top 5 dynasty running back. And if you don't produce in a passing volume when you're behind, are you a top 5 back? We see it with Nick Chubb on the regular. You know, Nick Chubb's a premier. He's probably arguably the best physical running back in the NFL. Like just what he does on the ground, Nick Chubb is possibly the best in the NFL, but he's never a top 5 dynasty or top 5 running back in most weeks. Like, he just doesn't get there. He doesn't get the passing volume in like a PPR league. Right. Maybe if you're talking standard, you could argue that, but in what most is PPR nowadays, it's not there. So for me, I feel like even if they fall from behind, it's even better for Javonte Williams to see his career path because he does get more receptions. He is good in the receiving game. So if you don't get that out of him against this game, like, I'm just saying, like, what is his value? Like, is he actually worth what you're paying to get him? Because you're getting what you want. He's a full workload. The offense is going to be the same. Judy, Sutton, and Patrick aren't going anywhere. Noah Fant ain't going anywhere. Albert O isn't going anywhere. The only change might be a quarterback. And if you get a better quarterback who says they're not passing more. So to me, it is like a culmination now, and everything leads up to this. And it's like,
but he's not playing the Chiefs in a bad weather game every week.
I understand that, but that doesn't necessarily matter. You know what I mean? If I draft Dalvin Cook, like, I'm pissed at Dalvin Cook this year. Do you know what I'm saying? I drafted Dalvin Cook as a top 5 guy, and he's giving me 10 to 15 points a week. Like, I don't want that. I would have rather taken Austin Eckler. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
if you look at it
just
that way,
seems-
then where do you put Jamar Chase at right now, given what he's done in recent weeks?
Exactly. He's a top 12, but I'm not going to put him at 1. I don't believe it. Look at DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf was the wide receiver 1 fucking for like 2 years. And now he's fallen off. Nobody wants him. It's just the value it's a giant roller coaster. So it's just like, what do? Do you try and buy Javonte Williams now and pay up the butt? And then he comes out and you realize that he's just basically, I don't know, J.K. Dobbins. You know what I mean? Like,
if he comes,
do you know what I'm saying? Like, he's a great runner. He's a good runner. He does everything J.K. Dobbins can do, but maybe he just doesn't get that passing work. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like,
but he's done that passing work with Melvin involved, so I don't think the passing work is going to be that big of a problem. The thing is, like, if I didn't have Javonte, and I have Javonte in a lot of spots, if I didn't have Javonte and he has a bad week this week, I'm willing to buy low on him, like, immediately. Like, whatever, if they have the same stance that you're taking, and they're like, okay, he's obviously couldn't produce today, and they're ignoring all the other factors that are going into the game, I'd be more than happy to buy that dip on a guy that I think is a top 10 option moving forward after this year.
I love him. I'm not trying to be like an anti-Javonte guy. Trust me, I want to see this.
Like it.
I want to see this breakout. I'm just saying the value at this point has reached an all-time high of, like, it's just almost crazy. Do you know what I mean? Like, you see some of the trades. Like, I was talking to JTRB1 Spence this morning, and like, hold on, let me find it. There's some crazy trades. Like, one is Javonte Williams and Darnell Mooney for DK Metcalf and Michael Carter. Like, at what point are we pulling the plug on DK? Like, what, you know what I mean? Like, where is that value at? Like, that to me, I would maybe take Javonte's side. But there's just some of these trades are crazy. There was one that involved CMC. I got to find it. Sorry. But, like, hold on. But, like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, what is the...
I saw
Where are we
a
pulling
trade yesterday went through. I'm on DLF's trade finder right now.
All right, that works.
Javonte Williams straight up for CMC yesterday.
Yeah, and that to me is absurd. That's just
not to me.
Why? I think that CMC is the better option. Like, hands down, he's proven it. Javonte hasn't proven anything.
CMC's upside is higher, but given the injury history that he recently had, that has killed me in the league the main league that I'm in with Dan, he's killed me this year. I'm not surprised by that type of move at all. If you're fully confident in Javonte Williams, I agree the upside isn't matched. CMC's upside is RB1 upside, like the RB1 upside. But Javonte doesn't have that upside. But if you're just worried about the injuries moving forward with CMC, I understand wanting to just get rid of him and having a guy you firmly believe in Javonte.
I could see Javonte if the Broncos get somebody better than Bridgewater, like maybe Aaron Rodgers. Heard that was swirling around.
What if they got Deshaun Watson next year?
Oh my God, I'm drafting him everywhere I can. I could see easy top 10, maybe even top 5. Like
that seems like a hedge. That's a strong hedge on the future of Javonte. Like, if you firmly believe he's the RB1 next year for the Denver Broncos and Melvin Gordon's not going to be there, and you believe that they're going to upgrade at quarterback, and you think that CMC's injury history is going to continue,
I'll take him over CMC any day.
I see the reason why you're willing to move him for that. I don't like the upside downtick. I don't like the loss of the upside, but I can understand why somebody would make that trade.
I don't know. I just don't know if you could convince me that he's on that same level.
All right, so I'm gonna go back a week. All right, just real quick before we get to this question that we have. Even going back a week before he was announced as a starter, somebody traded Javonte Williams in a second for Derrick Henry in a first.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
that was a week ago before he was announced as a starter.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. That's the exact argument I'm making, is that Like, I've tried to acquire Javonte Williams in spots, and it's literally impossible. And it just makes, like, if someone came to me and was like, oh, I'll give you CMC for Javonte Williams, like, it seems like it's not the right move to decline that. Like, CMC to me is the RB1, and he probably will be in drafts next year outside of JT. He'll probably be 2, just because the upside's there. I mean, yeah, it's injuries, but I mean, who says, look at anybody, you know what I mean? Look at J.K. Dobbins, went down before the season. He was drafted where? You know what I mean? Like, the injury stuff it's there, and it's hard to prove that somebody's injury prone. He's just coming off of a bad injury, and just it hasn't been healthy. It doesn't mean that he's not going to be healthy. You know what I mean? You're drafting Saquon, same thing this year. You know what I mean? Zeke. Like, all these guys, any of these running backs can get hurt. It's just
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, look at these 2 moves, okay? Javonte Williams and Javonte Williams for Khalil Herbert in a first. Javonte Williams for Darrell Williams in a first.
Yeah. See, like, now that's where I'm comfortable. I'm making that move.
Of course, you're going to take that move. Of course,
That's
you're
what
going to
I'm
do that.
That's all. He should only be worth a first-round pick. Like, you're giving up CMC. Like, you're giving up an RB1 for a guy who might be the RB12. You don't, like, you know what I mean? Javonte Williams' ceiling isn't the RB1, and I love Javonte Williams. I just don't think that, because your argument is, oh, they're going to get a better quarterback and he's going to be that much better. But they have 3 viable wide receivers. Who says?
I'm not saying that's the argument. I'm saying if you're hedging on that argument, if you're hedging on, because people make bad trades. I traded Jonathan Taylor away after his 4th or 5th bad game last year, and I could still have him, and I'd probably be undefeated in the league that I'm in with Dan if I had JT all year. So, like, it happens. If you're hedging on what to expect, what if he comes out today and gets a CMC style workload?
He might, but that's what I'm saying. I mean, yeah, if he goes crazy, then all these values are correct.
Right.
But if he gets you 12 points, I mean, you just gave up 35 points in CMC for a guy who's going to get you 12 to 15, because that's all he's ever done. I'm just saying it's a risk. I'm just saying that what happens to the value? Does it stay if he gets 10 points tonight? Because, it was a bad weather game. The Chiefs are pretty good. You know, like, he's still going to be great. Like, how long do we hold on to it?
I'll just buy low on him.
I'd be willing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, does it drop? You know what I mean? Like, are you overpaying trying to get him right now? Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, but in that situation where it's CMC, that guy might be in contention right now and might need that upside right now, as opposed to a guy that he might have traded him to a guy that is banking on CMC being CMC next year.
Yeah, and I respect that. I think, to me, that makes more sense. Like, I'm going to risk it with trying to get CMC. I guess depending on my team's window, but, like, playing Dynasty, you shouldn't look much more than 2 to 3 years out. And I mean, unless you're really ready to compete, giving up, I don't know.
If I'm looking at running back, I'm looking 2 years max out. Like,
exactly.
I'm not looking at.
That's what I mean. Like,
3 years from now. So
to me, CMC is still very viable for 2 years. It just seems, I don't know. Let's go back to the questions. We're never going to win this. Talk 25 minutes on how Javonte Williams. Yeah, we could talk for a whole day.
We could. I really could make this argument all day.
I'm here for it
because I'm honestly just playing the protagonist,
the devil's advocate,
because like, I love him. I would probably give up CMC for him, but I'm just saying, like, it just doesn't seem right. So, all right, help. Hopefully we can help this. 6-6, fighting for the playoff spot, half PPR flex. DeAndre Hopkins, Miles Sanders, Michael Pittman, and Tyler Lockett. Ryan, lead us off. He currently has D-Hop in because he feels like it's hard to sit him.
I mean, I completely understand not wanting to sit him, but that's another game. It's supposed to be a bad weather game. Hopkins did not practice on Friday, limited on Wednesday and Thursday. I don't think I'm willing to start him this week just because it's a hamstring injury, and those type of things are very, very tricky. They tend to re-aggravate. They could even have some tightness just from the weather itself. But you look at a guy like Miles Sanders going against the Jets, really, really good matchup. Jets are currently Jets are currently last in the NFL, 35.5 points per game in PPR to running backs. So I said I liked Miles Sanders last week. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I don't think he performed as well as I thought he was going to, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, Sanders last week.
I think I'm still going to roll with him. Pittman gets the Texans, but this is a traditional T.Y. Hilton game.
T.Y. Houston, baby, let's go.
He's locked into lineups when he's playing Houston for whatever reason. I don't know why. He just kills them every single time he plays them. So for me, I think I'm going to lean that way. 49ers are banged up a little bit on defense, but it's mainly the linebackers that are hurt. Russell Wilson hasn't looked the same. So I would take – and Jordan Howard's out for Philly, which doesn't sound like it would matter, but it has mattered in recent weeks. So I'm going to go with Sanders here over D-Hop just because of the injury concerns. I want to see him be healthy and be ready to go before we see anything. I wouldn't be surprised if he got a snap count. Wouldn't be surprised if he's just kind of out there to kind of shake the rust off a little bit, and then next week he's fully ready to go. So for me, it's Sanders.
Fair, Dan?
I can't with Miles Sanders anymore. They're not giving him the ball really. Like I'm completely off of Sanders.
I didn't think about this either, but until just now. But Minshew was a quarterback last year with Robinson doing what he did for Jacksonville.
I mean, a different scenario, Ryan. Let's be real. Mick Sirianni loves Boston Scott and Kenny Gainwell and all of them, all four of them.
For me, it might surprise you guys, but I'm gonna go with Lockett here, just solely based on it. It's one play, and he's 15 points. Like, I know Russ has looked really bad lately, but I'll take the upside on Lockett almost every time. Hopkins is either still hurt or coming off of an injury where he's missed multiple games. As we said, Sanders is just – I don't think he's liked in Philly. Then we got
I don't know.
Yeah, we got the T.Y. Houston game today. So, yeah, Lockett, I think, is the best bet.
Interesting. Yeah, Ryan, Miles Sanders last week had 9 carries. However, he did go for 7 per carry. So he's still I don't get it. He's very effective. I mean, all the numbers say he's an effective runner. And for some odd reason, Nick Sirianni's like, well, we got Jordan Howard. So
there's Boston Scott, too.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm out on Sanders. I mean, the upside's probably there. It's a good matchup against the Jets, but their front four is pretty good. They're usually okay. And I don't know. I actually like Pittman.
Their front four is good, but they're giving up the most points allowed in PPR.
Live with it, Ryan. Maybe it's passing.
Doesn't make
I don't know. You gotta figure that out. You know what I mean? You gotta break it up. Maybe it's on receptions. Maybe their linebackers aren't good. I don't know. I'm just saying. I just don't like Miles Sanders. There's too many other options. Boston Scott. I know Howard's out, but Kenny Gainwell. The upside's there. I just don't. D-Hop said he's supposed to be limited even if he plays. And I know I saw Kingsbury said that he wants to take a cautious coach with that approach. So I'm kind of out on D-Hop this week. If he burns me on the bench, I mean, it is what it is. I just want to kind of wait until he's fully healthy because you don't know. You could get that Packers game where he came out, he got you a deep pass that hopefully was a touchdown, and then he got burned with the face penalty and, all that fun shit. So I'm going to take Pittman. I know it's a T.Y. Hilton game, but Pittman's been pretty good in decent matchups, and that's what this is against Houston. I do worry a little bit that JT takes over, but I can't trust Lockett with Russell Wilson right now. Wilson is not Russell Wilson with that finger injury, and that whole offense in Seattle's a mess. So
yeah, Lockett still had 96 yards last week. And I think he had 3 catches for 96.
Yeah, I think Pittman's probably touchdown upside's a little higher. I think that offense just moves a little better. And I mean, it might go to Jonathan Taylor. You might see what they did to the Bills. You know what I mean? We all know what happened there. So, but Mooner N has There's that Monner. It's probably Monner. Sorry, apologies. Sit one. Oh, Sony Michel, T. Higgins, Van Jefferson, Devontae Freeman, half PPR. I got confused there. I thought that was Michael Higgins, and I was like, ooh.
That's what I thought too. When I saw it pop up, I was like, who the heck is Michael Higgins? I'm sitting here trying
Yeah, but now I realize. Sony Michel, T. Higgins, Van Jefferson, Devontae Freeman, half PPR. Dan, you can lead us off.
Start one.
Sit one. Oh, no, start one. God.
It's okay, buddy.
Yeah, I'm all over it.
Oh, God. Probably T. Higgins for me. He's been showing up past few weeks as Chase has kind of taken a little bit of a backseat, and he's getting targets. He's getting targeted like in the end zone. Like he's for me, he's the best and probably the most reliable out of these guys.
Ryan.
What just happened? Why did you make that face?
Who?
You.
Me? I just realized I have like 35 Twitter windows open on my other screen. I'm like, what's going on?
I thought you had like breaking news I was about to hit, and I'm like, what? What is it? I'm like looking at my phone. I'm like, what is going on here?
No, not yet.
Man, this one's tough. I don't love the matchup for Higgins against the Chargers. Asante Samuel's out again for the Chargers, so that might help. But they're still allowing the 6th fewest points to wide receivers at PPR. Sony Michel could be in for a pretty large workload, especially if Henderson does not play. I know they said they're not optimistic about him playing. And they're going against Jacksonville. That game should be a positive game script for him, so he should see a pretty solid workload.
It was supposed to be against the Bills, too.
But that's Jonathan Taylor. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
The Jags, the Bills were supposed to have a positive game script against the Jags, and it was an absolute mess.
We don't run the ball.
Yeah, it's true.
Because I like the OBJ's hurt with a hip injury. I kind of like the upside of Van Jefferson. Devontae Freeman against the Steelers.
For me, for this one, it's just
a positive game script.
Straight up betting on talent, and Higgins is the most talented out of these guys in this list right here.
Oh, and I get that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You want me to go, Ryan? Since you're too confused.
Yeah, I'm going to
take Sony Michel if Darrell Henderson is out. I know he isn't ruled out yet, and he might have a limited role. And I like Sony Michel enough against the Jaguars just because I don't think that we're going to get the same thing like Dan alluded to with the Bills. The Rams are a little bit more consistent. The Bills they're just very inconsistent this year.
Mm-hmm.
Statistically, all the numbers back it up. Visual tests, everything backs it up. They haven't been consistent. The Rams kind of struggle a little bit with that, but they're much more consistent, it seems like. So I do like Sony Michel if Henderson's out. If Henderson is not out, I'm actually going to take Devontae Freeman. I know Pittsburgh, a lot of people worry about Pittsburgh against the run, but actually Pittsburgh's been pretty weak against the run this year.
Yeah, I don't.
They've given up a lot on the ground. And for me, I think that's going to be a little bit more of a slugfest. And I expect Baltimore's always run pretty well against Pittsburgh. Last year we saw it with J.K. Dobbins, who's a lot better than Devontae Freeman. But we saw it that they can run the ball against Pittsburgh, and I think that Devontae Freeman will see enough of a workload that he will be definitely viable this week, along with most likely the most touchdown upside. I worry about Van Jefferson only based on the fact that I expect the Rams to be up a lot, and I don't expect them to run a lot or throw a lot. So that's why I would think about Sony Michel if Darrell Henderson's out. So, and I just don't like T. Higgins against the Chargers. I trusted Jerry Jeudy against the Chargers last week and got burned. They're good against wide receivers. Cortland Sutton, Tim Patrick, none of them did anything against the Chargers. So for me, T. Higgins, I'm a little bit hesitant on. Upside's obviously there, but I like Devontae Freeman. I think he has more touchdown upside than the rest of these guys, just because I think that game's a lot tighter. Both teams need the win, so I think it's just going to be that interdivisional ground and pound, old style slugfest, and so
that game, it's interesting to me. It's between Higgins and Freeman, but I'm just, like I said, betting on talent. So
Higgins is you're right. I mean, Higgins is the most talented, so I don't hate that idea behind it. So. Okay, Ryan, we bought you some time.
All right. So after just looking over some of my notes and stuff like that, I'm going to go against Dan here, and I'm with T. Higgins because Bengals might be without two of their best offensive linemen. It's supposed to be a pretty bad weather game. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a large Joe Mixon game, especially given how that offense has ran and how the Chargers defense has been against running backs so far this year. And then I'm going to start Sony Michel if Henderson is out. Obviously, you're not going to start him if Henderson's playing, but OBJ being banged up, he's not going to be himself. His hip is going to, from reports, he's going to be limited in terms of what he can do. Jaguars are going to be missing Shaq Griffin. James Robinson is also questionable, which is going to make that offense even worse. So I feel like it's going to be a positive game script for the Rams. Michelle should see a ton of work if Henderson were to miss. So I'm going to start Michelle if Henderson does not play.
What if Henderson plays?
If Henderson plays, I will go with Freeman there.
So what you're saying is I convinced you. It's okay. After consulting your quote unquote notes.
I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't even listening to you. I don't even know.
Wow. Wow.
Oof.
Well,
Spicy.
I was looking at my
right.
notes and reading.
On to the next question. I might just leave now. I was going to leave early to begin with, but now I'll just log off.
Now?
Ryan's not even listening to me.
That's hurtful, man.
I know. My heart is in pain. Adam has Gesicki or Logan Thomas, full PPR. Ryan? Or Dan, whoever wants to take over the lead.
Go ahead, buddy.
I gotta go Logan Thomas here. I can't trust Gesicki anymore. It feels like I don't even know his first name off the top of my head, but Smythe, the tight end for
Durham.
Yeah. He has played in like 89.5% of snaps the last few weeks combined, or just on average. And they're just not looking his way, especially with Waddle's emergence. They're just not really looking to Gesicki the same way as they were before. Logan Thomas is still a big part of that offense for Washington, and they're going against a Las Vegas Raiders team who is giving up almost 18 points a game in PPR to tight ends. So for me, it's Logan Thomas, and it was relatively easy.
Really? I actually agree. I like Logan Thomas, just like you said, pretty much everything that you alluded to. He's a big integral part of that offense. No second receivers really emerged. We saw Curtis Samuel last week was not very heavily involved. The Raiders have been really bad against the run, so I expect Antonio Gibson to get a good workload, but that should open up the play action, and I think Logan Thomas will have a good game. I think he possibly sees a touchdown this week. Mike Gesicki, I'm just a little worried with Devonte Parker coming back. It seems like those two are really correlated, not even the tight ends. Like, I know you're worried with Durham Smythe seeing some targets, Ryan, and that's fair. But it seems like Gesicki kind of lines up in the slot a lot more and kind of almost plays what Devonte Parker's role is in this offense. So I'm a little worried with the Parker coming back that he could see a downtick in targets. Huh? What? Ryan, what did you?
Yeah, I was.
Ryan, you're breaking up.
Yeah, you cut out.
Yeah. Devonte Parker's back, so I expect there to be
Is it-
a possibility of a down tick. So I'll take Logan Thomas. Dan.
Yeah, it's Logan Thomas. It's almost a landslide. Like, he's so good. They use him so much. He's locked in. He's probably top 5 this week, honestly. I wouldn't be shocked at that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's definitely tight end 1. Top 5 might be tough, but I could see it. There's definitely a path there. No
Yeah.
Waller.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. I don't know. You figure Goddard might have a down tick with Minshew, but, yeah, I mean, definitely. I like it.
I think this is going to be one of the highest scoring games, like, of the week. Like, I love that game.
Yeah, I definitely could see it. Both teams kind of fighting for it.
Mm-hmm.
iSnag has Ertz or TJ Hawkinson.
Ew.
Yeah, tough call there, eh? Dan, I'll let you lead us off.
Oh, God. Oh, God. This is bad. Probably Hawkinson. There's no Swift. I mean, they do have Williams, who's a good pass catcher, but they're almost always going to be down, so they're going to be throwing the ball. And no real threats at the receiver position, but Hawkinson, I guess Hawkinson is probably their best pass catcher, so they're probably going to try to feed him the ball. And it's not pretty, but I'm going to close my eyes, put Hawkinson in there, and just try not to watch that game.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's very meh. Something that you
horrible.
probably wouldn't have thought at the beginning of the year. We definitely thought TJ Hawkinson was going to take that jump this season.
Yeah.
But both have really tough matchups. The Bears only allow about 9 points per week in PPR, and the Vikings are at 8. So you have 2 tough matchups. I'm actually going to take Ertz. I just can't trust Jared Goff, and that's where this is going to come from.
Yeah.
I'm going to trust Kyler Murray, who I believe is pretty healthy from the sounds of it. I know he has been. There hasn't been really a question whether he's playing or not this week. So I'm going to take Kyler Murray and Zach Ertz with possibility of no DeAndre Hopkins against the Bears defense that I was pretty surprised that they're that good against tight ends, honestly. Last year they kind of struggled, so they got a lot better. But I'm just going to take it. I think Zach Ertz, the higher power offense, I think he might be able to find a touchdown where TJ Hawkinson probably won't. I could be wrong. Maybe Minnesota falters a little, but I just don't like the matchup, and I don't trust the quarterback as I do with Kyler Murray. Right?
Yeah. Give me the guy with the better matchup, and that would be Zach Ertz. He has also seen at least 4 targets in every game since he's been in Arizona, getting Kyler back. Minnesota has only let up 1 tight end touchdown all year, and Jared Goff is Hawkins' quarterback, so I would take Ertz here.
Totally agree. I'm mad at Jared Goff, too, because I promoted him all offseason, figured he'd be at least a top 24 quarterback, and here he is, ruining me. iSnag also has Jalen Waddle or Sony Michel. I'm still taking Jalen Waddle. I know Devonte Parker's back, and I know there's kind of that mantra out there that he might steal targets, but, I mean, Jalen Waddle's explosive. He's proven it. He's a top 12 wide receiver right now in PPR, so, I mean, the upside's the same. Sony Michel's upside is like 15 or 20 points if he scores 2 touchdowns, basically. So I just Jalen Waddle for me. It's just too good. The upside's too good to risk for a safe floor in Sony Michel if Henderson's out even.
And it's arguable that Waddle has an even safer floor than Michel does. And every facet, it's Waddle for me.
Yeah, clean sweep on Waddle. Double-digit targets in 5 of the last 7. Taking him.
He says might be dumb, but Sony Michel or Najee, and as dumb as it does sound, I actually don't hate it. Questioning it, because Najee hasn't really been. Najee's been what I kind of expected him to be, but he has way more passing work than I thought he was going to get, which has allowed him to be a very viable PPR option. However, he's kind of seen a big downtick the last couple weeks. So I'm a little torn. I'd probably say just stay with Najee. But I understand where you're coming from, and I don't think it's dumb. Just because Sony Michel does have a nice matchup if Henderson's out and could see much better success versus playing Baltimore. But I just think that the PPR, if it's PPR still, the upside in Najee's just the floor is so safe because he usually sees 3 to 4 targets. I think his over-under right now is 3.5 at Vegas. So I don't know. I would probably just stick with Najee because it just seems like he's a better player.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's dumb. I know it sounds dumb, like you're saying, but it's not. So don't feel like you are dumb for.
There's never a dumb question.
Yeah, like I totally get it. Like I'm there with you. I don't have any Najee Harris because I never thought he was worth what he was in drafts. So I'm not in this situation. But Dan, I was all over Javonte Williams. Trust me. Earlier, I was just playing the devil's advocate. So
yeah, yep.
But if either of you have a different opinion, let iSnag know.
No.
Ryan?
No, I think you still got to roll with the upside of Najee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially in PPR. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger can't throw the ball more than 5 yards. So,
and if it makes you feel any better, the Ravens have 8 guys that are questionable on the defense. Just on the defensive side of the ball alone, 8 guys are questionable, including Tivon Young, Jalen Ferguson, and Marlon Humphrey, who did not practice on Friday, and they're all questionable.
Lamar's probably sick again, so.
Yeah, I mean it's.
And we've seen it. I mean, Jacksonville's actually not that bad against running backs.
No, they're not.
Like we're
In
portraying
terms of
this as Jacksonville. Yeah, like they're not terrible. So I'd probably just stick with Najee just for the pure upside in the PPR with the passing there. So we have Mahomes or Justin Herbert.
What a good problem to have.
Right. Meanwhile, I'm over here like Teddy Bridgewater, Mike White.
Yeah.
This guy's over here, Mahomes or Herbert. Lucky.
Mahomes for me. Herbert's playing a pretty decent defense, and I mean Mahomes is Mahomes. He's been on fire. So that Chiefs team getting hot at the right time. Just give me Mahomes all day over Herbert for this week. Anyways.
Brian?
I mean, they both have tough matchups. Both the Broncos and the Bengals are both top 7 in terms of production to quarterback so far this year. It's supposed to be a somewhat of a bad weather game for the Chargers and Bengals. I was looking at the weather report before the show, and it doesn't look great in Cincinnati for today. So just the fact that it's a toss-up, I'll take the guy that is in the better situation. Herbert's on the road. Mahomes is at home in a game that should be better weather-wise, at least according to reports this morning. So I'm going to take Mahomes, but you can't really go wrong with either one, I don't think.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to start. I'm really torn here, kind of. Like, Denver's not terrible, but, like, it's Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs.
I think the Chiefs are going to destroy them today. So I think Mahomes is going to have a big one.
I kind of agree. Like, I feel like there's been a lot of talk, like, oh, the Chiefs aren't the Chiefs, which they kind of haven't been. But, like, this is a big game. Like, this entire division is, like, knotted up. Like, you have Denver, Denver, Raiders, Chargers, and Chiefs are all, like, in this still.
Yeah, they're all above 500. They're all within, like, a game and a half. Yeah.
Like, the Chiefs need this game. Like, this is going to be crucial for their playoff hopes and division win hopes. So for me, I agree with Dan. I think that Mahomes comes out. It's Sunday Night Football. I think he looks better than he has all year. I think he looks more Mahomes-like, and I'm just going to take that upside because I think that game could get out of control. The Chargers also have to travel to Cincinnati, so I don't love that travel thing. There always tends to be that, and I could see Cincinnati wanting to get this win too. And the Chargers have just been very kind of Bills like, they're up and down. Herbert's been up and down. Mahomes has been even a little bit more consistent. He's just kind of been meh. You know what I mean? Like he's been a good quarterback, but like not what he has been for fantasy in a while. But he's been pretty consistent with it. So I'm going to take Mahomes. I just think, like Dan said, this is a big game for them. I think that they come out and they establish that what they have been isn't what they are, and what they are is a playoff contender. So I'm Mahomes as well. I think that sums up our questions. Dan, do you want to talk about anything? I'll let you ask. You're the guest.
How do you guys feel about
questions?
How do you guys feel about Bateman for the rest of this year and moving forward, like dynasty look for him? Because I think he's going to overtake Marquise Brown as the alpha in the receiving core. I mean, he's getting a good target share. He's producing when he gets the targets. Like I think his outlook is fantastic for even the playoff run for this year and for dynasty moving forward. I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on that.
So here's my super bold claim for the morning, since you wanted to decide to get here and talk about it. I think that Rashad Bateman is very Keenan Allen-like in an offense. So you can take that however you feel. Depends on how you feel like Keenan Allen. He's a first down machine. He runs routes well. He doesn't have what Marquise Brown has, which is like that take the top off a defense.
Yeah.
But he's just very reliable. And that's where I get like that Keenan Allen comparison. He tends
he's a
to do
PPR
well.
machine. Yeah,
he does well
the
in the slot. He does well outside. Like he can kind of play everywhere. And he just has a knack for getting open and just really good hands. Yeah. So I think depending on how Lamar Jackson continues his trajectory that is looking great in the passing game this year, I could see that as far as a fantasy option goes. I think Marquise Brown will still be very much involved. I think they like what he brings, which is that field stretching, opens up the middle of the field.
Yeah, you have to have that.
My only worry still is Mark Andrews. I just don't know if the volume will be there. I know they're passing a lot, and now we can make the argument because they had made that they said they wanted to get more pass heavy earlier in the offseason. But the question also comes, is it also that they're more pass heavy because that's where their playmakers are right now? You're missing J.K. Dobbins. You're missing Gus Edwards. You're down to your third running back, and they're all guys that you picked up out of nowhere.
Yeah,
so
geriatric squad.
Are they passing because they just know that that's where their talented players are? Or are they passing because this is what they want their offense to be? Do you know what I mean?
I think the Ravens, they're going to run the ball, and they're going to be good at running the ball. But I think they want to show everybody why they drafted Lamar. And they want to showcase his arm a little bit more than they have in the past. And besides the 4 interception game he had, he's been passing really well this year. So I think there's more of that to come. And I'm all in. Once Dobbins comes back, I am all in on this offense again. Like I think they're going to be a juggernaut. And they could even be good this year still too. Like they're still right there in the playoff hunt, and they're a scary, scary team.
Yeah, they're definitely a team you don't want to meet in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But like you said, I do think, like as an outlook goes, I think he's going to be a very good wide receiver. And wide receiver flips over pretty well year to year. But I think he's going to be probably a top 24 maybe.
Yeah,
it's going to depend on the volume. You know what I mean? It's one of those guys that you have to hope for the best, but you have to wait and see next season when that offense is fully healthy. I think that there's a lot to be said of the talent drop off from from J.K. Dobbins to Devontae Freeman, and then when Gus Edwards is in there, we've seen it. They like to run the ball. I mean, it's Greg Roman. So
yeah,
but I don't hate Bateman. I do think that he might be more viable long term than Marquise Brown, just because, like we said, he's like a PPR machine. He's underneath. He gets first downs on the regular. So I don't hate it. Ryan, do you have any comments? You're just gonna sit there and be quiet.
I was listening to you guys talk. Wasn't being rude. For me, he is a guy that I think will be a steady wide receiver 2 moving forward. I don't think he is going to reach that wide receiver 1 status just because of the offense that he does run in. I just don't see Lamar being able to support a wide receiver 1 and a tight end 1 and a RB, low end RB1, high end RB2. But in terms of like a steady T. Higgins-esque wide receiver 2, yeah, I kind of that's kind of where I view him as. Definitely would be a solid piece to have if you have other great wide receivers as like a plug and play type of guy. I'm not sure if he'll ever get to that set it and forget it type status, but overall, I think he's a solid wide receiver moving forward. I just don't think he reaches that wide receiver 1 status in his career, especially with the influx of talent that they're getting every year from the college ranks. I mean, it's next year you got guys like Treylon Burks coming out and Garrett Wilson, and I mean there's other Jameson Williams, I think it is, from Alabama. I mean, guys like that are coming in, and it's just a steady flow of young influx talent coming in that are going to continuously compete with guys like that. So I just don't ever see him reaching that wide receiver 1 status that he probably could have had he gone to a more pass-happy, efficient offense.
Yeah. Like Green Bay. Oh, Lord.
That would have been
What could have been.
That's actually a spot that I was hoping that he would go to. Like when they didn't get him, and when I saw he went to Baltimore, I was a little disappointed because I did want him to go to a place like Green Bay or, I mean, obviously the obvious places would be like Kansas City where they're just constantly throwing the ball. Even Buffalo where the offense is basically throwing the ball and that's it. But just in that offense with Dobbins and Edwards both coming back next year, both of those guys are on deals. They're going to continue to use those guys, so I just don't see him ever getting the volume or the quarterback play to support all the positions that they're going to have naturally.
Yeah, I mean, I like him long term. I just, like you guys said, some of the upside's limited. I could see Keenan Allen, though, like a low-end wide receiver 1, depending on the offensive trajectory, how much Marquise Brown stays involved. Is he more just going to be a field stretcher kind of thing?
His first game back, he had 6 targets. Like they obviously want him to be part of the offense, and I want any part of like an offense like that I can possibly get.
Yeah, and it's tough because then once they get the red zone, you got Mark Andrews, who's like a beast down there, and Jackson trusts him. So
yeah,
there's a lot of things working against him, but he also is just a very talented wide receiver. So there's also good things.
I got one. Oh, never mind.
One quick question, and then you can.
Yeah.
Then I got to dip out, and then you guys can argue your question.
Okay.
Jim R., Devonte Parker, or Jacoby Myers?
Go ahead, Ryan.
Oh, thanks. Go with Devonte Parker here. Jacoby's been really consistent. He's been pretty steady all year. But according to PFF, Teron Johnson the toughest slot cornerback in the league so far. He's only allowing 5 points per game to slot wide receivers. So with Davonte coming back, he's seen a relatively high target share with the games that he's played with Waddle so far this year. I don't expect that to change too much. I think him and Waddle are probably the guys that are going to be involved the most with that offense. So for me, I'm going to go with Parker.
Yeah, I agree there. I don't like either of them this week, in all honesty. Jakobi Meyers has been consistent, like you said. He probably is the safest of the two. However, Devonte Parker has the higher upside, I would almost argue it the back way. I could see it going either way. They're kind of just the same player this week for me. The Bills against slot receivers, like Ryan said, have not been friendly. I know Tre'Davious White out could affect some of that, but Tyron Johnson is going to usually probably cover Jakobi Meyers. I also worry, though, I'm not sure what the Bills defense is going to look like. I worry that they might not run as much man, and they might switch to a little bit more of a zone, just because they don't have that lockdown in Trey White anymore. So I'd be curious to see if Sean McDermott and Leslie Frazier don't adjust their defense. However, it's more so weather for me, this one. Jakobi Meyers is going to be playing in a minus 15 wind chill in possibly blizzard conditions here tomorrow night. So I'm just going to take Devonte Parker purely because the weather's probably going to be better. And I feel like both of them have just as many chances of scoring a touchdown and seeing as many targets. So I'll take Parker in a better weather and probably a better matchup. So, Dan?
I don't want to.
I don't blame you. I'm not saying I want to either. I would prefer to not start either of these, honestly. But
this is another one where I'm just going to probably put Parker in there, shut my apps down. I'm not even going to watch Red Zone. Just throw up in a garbage can, hope for the best.
When they say, and we're going to go to Miami, you're like, no, run.
Yeah, I'm switching the channel.
Run! Change the channel. I don't want to see it.
Jeremy, does it, or actually the one of you, does it help at all that Adoree Jackson's out for the Giants this week?
Yeah, probably. But like I said, I'm taking Devonte Parker. I don't feel great about
too,
it.
But
God,
it's gross.
I really don't like Jakobi Meyers this week, and I could be wrong. I didn't like him last week, and he did pretty well. So I've sat in Jakobi Meyers a couple weeks, and he just keeps burning me. So
you didn't like Kendrick Bourne last week either.
Exactly. See, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes I'm wrong. Probably more than I'm right, but that's the name of the game. If you got them all right, then everybody'd be playing, right? I wouldn't have drafted J.K. Dobbins because I would have known the future. But
it's true.
Either way, I'm going to let you two finish the show and have fun.
Jesus, thanks, bud.
Oh, we will.
What'd you say?
I said, oh, thanks.
Oh, you'll have fun. Don't worry. Till next week, I'm going to dip out. Ryan and Dan have you the rest of the way. Enjoy your Sunday. You two, have fun.
Thanks, buddy. Have a good one.
See you, man.
You too.
Go Titans.
Stop it. You don't say that on our show, all right? It's go Bills or nothing.
Actually, I lied. Ryan,
what?
You might have to restart this because I don't know if it's going to end it when I close this. Just letting you know, FYI. So, if you have to.
All
sorry.
right. All right.
Peace.
See ya. All right, it did not end because I'm logged into the I'm logged into the head account. So good thing there.
Yeah.
Jamar, James Robinson, or Myles Gaskin in PPR. This, for me, is very interesting because the Rams are very, very up and down when it comes to running back production. They've had games where they have been stifling. They've had games where they get gouged like crazy.
Yeah.
So for me, this really comes down to if you believe James Robinson is going to be a full go. I haven't seen anything. Dan, I don't know if you've seen anything watching NFL game day or not. I have not seen anything about James Robinson being active, inactive, one way or another. I have not seen anything regarding him.
No, I just see that he's still questionable. I'm looking now, and yeah, I can't find anything.
So, and
He's
Philip
probably
Lindsay-
going to be limited.
yeah, but it's number one, it's a bad offensive matchup for the Jaguars. Like the game script should not go in Robinson's favor, but he receives so much receiving work that I don't really think it matters game script wise. I think it really just depends on if you believe James Robinson is going to be a full go. If he's a full go, you're starting him over Myles Gaskin.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really think that's much of a question, to be honest with you. But in a game against the Giants, I know it's gross, but no Philip Lindsay. He's doubtful. He has been involved since he signed there.
Yeah.
Miami is at home, so I think I would just rather take the safer option with Gaskin.
Mm-hmm.
Being at home, being what should be a positive game script for them. I think if you're already questioning this decision, it's because you don't believe James Robinson is going to be a full go. So unless it comes out and says that he is no concerns whatsoever, I think I would go with Myles Gaskin and just really hope for that injury with Robinson to not flare up, because that's terrible to say. You don't want to see players hurt, but in terms of fantasy, you just don't want to see him be a full go and go off against the Rams. It is supposed to be somewhat of a bad weather game, so that could play into the Rams or the Jaguars is running upside a little bit. They might just give him the ball a little bit more. But for me, I think I would just rather play it safe and start Gaskin as opposed to Robinson, who might leave early or have something happen to his injury and re-aggravate it. So that's just kind of where I'm at. I don't know about you, Dan, but
yeah, and in our dynasty league, I have no choice really but to play Robinson. So I'm hoping he's full go. If he is, you're probably playing him. But Gaskin he's played better as of late. He's been more consistent. And like you said, positive game script. I'd go Gaskin, and if you have the opportunity to sit Robinson this week, I definitely would, and I'd let him hurt me on the bench for this week and play Gaskin with a higher upside, him not being hurt and all that.
and I mean, Gaskin's seen 35 opportunities the last 2 weeks combined.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's not like he's not getting work. He's just hasn't been producing as much as he probably should with the workload he's been given. But
yeah,
that's just kind of where I'm at. Giants' rush defense is not good. Just looking here, they're 31st in rush DVOA this season. I just don't see them being able to stop him enough, especially if he's given a full workload like that, to sit him over a guy that's injured in what could be a very tough matchup in a negative game script for James Robinson.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, Dan, what was your other question here?
Oh, buddy, I'm going to bring him up every time I come on a show or anything.
Who is it?
What are we doing with Allen Robinson moving? This year is a dead year, but dynasty out. I'm asking strictly dynasty outlook right now.
Okay, strictly dynasty.
I'm a buy low on him for dynasty because he's probably gone after this year, and I could see him going. Yeah,
there's
I
no
can
way
see him going somewhere where he's going to get his 10 to 12 targets a game. He's one of my favorite receivers in the whole league, and he's massively underrated. He's not making me look too good this year, but that's a byproduct of having Justin Fields and Andy Dalton throwing the football.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think it can't be Fields because Darnell Mooney's having a breakout year.
They're not even looking his way though.
I don't think it's Fields. I think it's just a play calling in the way that he has shown an inability to get open as much as he did in years prior. Like I remember looking. He's doubtful to play this week, so I didn't really look too much into him this week. But in terms of like his overall performance for the year, he hasn't been Allen Robinson, even when he's not throwing the ball. Like his separation's down, his QB rating when targeted is down. Like he's not doing what people expected, and including me and you. Like me and you were both high on him at the beginning of the year. We thought, at least I did with Fields coming in, that he would be a guy that would be right there among the league leaders in basically every category. But if you're looking at just his advanced stats, I mean, he's 65th in yards per route. He's 59th in catchable percentage, 69th in catch rate. His target separation is 105. He's 105th in target separation. Like he's not separating the way you would expect him, a receiver of his caliber, to do. And whether that be maybe he's not showing the work, maybe he's not putting in as much effort. I haven't watched enough Bears game to watch and see if he's just not putting in the effort to get open, or if he's just maybe his route running is taking a little bit of a dip, which I don't see that as a case, seeing as how he is only 28 years old. Receivers don't usually start dipping off until they're 30, 31. So I don't see that as the issue. I just don't know what the issue is. Going into a new offense would definitely rejuvenate him for sure, though, because I mean, he did what he did last year, and he was still on the same team. I think he was playing for a contract. I think he knew that he was going to be a free agent. He played so well they franchise tagged him, and now he's like, that's not happening again. I'm going where I want to go. So
Trubisky they force fed him the ball. Yeah, and they're just not looking his way, and
it's been Mooney and Cole Kmet, and that's basically it. Like that's all they've been targeting recently. And like I said, whether it be because of injury or not injury, but whether it be, well, injuries are playing a factor. I'm not gonna say they're not, but whether it be that he's just not working hard enough on the field, or what it is. And I don't want to question that, because he's a professional athlete, and I feel like he's probably trying no matter what. But that's just what it feels like. It just feels like he's not trying to do what he is capable of, saving himself for next year, knowing that, okay, they're not going to franchise tag me if I'm playing this bad. It doesn't make any sense to pay me that much money if I'm playing this bad. So, and I'm not going to sign a contract with them. So I think he just wants to get out of there. I think he just wants to go decide where he wants to play. And it'll be interesting to see where he goes next year.
Didn't he say he hated Chicago, like the city of Chicago itself? I'm pretty sure that was a quote from him. I know he's not happy there. You can't be happy playing for the Bears.
Well, and the other thing is, like, they're not a contending team by any means. Like, they're not contending this year. They're not contending next year. They're not contending the year after that, probably. So, like, at that point, he's 31, almost 32 years old. When you're finally maybe a contender, if they build a team right, you're probably going to have a new head coach next year. You're probably going to have a new GM next year. Like, you're basically starting over from scratch at 29 years old, and that's not ideal. What you want to do as a free agent is to start basically over with a new system, new head coach, new everything, and a second-year quarterback who isn't targeting you the ball.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I think next year, I think he is just gone. I think he's done. It'll be Darnell Mooney would be a pretty high draft pick next year for them, though, or for fantasy next year. It just, I don't know. I still think he has wide receiver 2 upside, just with how talented he is. I think it all just depends on where he goes.
Yeah, because that's what he makes his bread on, is getting those 10 to 15 targets a game. He was the safest bet you could have at receiver, almost one of the safest, and he's just absolutely killed me this year.
Yeah, he was my wide receiver 1 in a lot of teams that when I went running back heavy and early. He was my wide receiver 1 on a lot of teams that I had, and I was really comfortable with that. I knew that he was sitting there; he'd be sitting there waiting in the 3rd or 4th round. Yeah, and so I was willing to go running back heavy in a lot of redraft leagues, because I knew he'd be sitting there, and I had confidence in the depth of wide receiver position, which the depth part of it was right. Just Allen Robinson is not the wide receiver one that we thought he was going to be. So, yeah, that's just kind of where I'm at. I like him overall. I still like him. I just think he needs to go somewhere else that he wants to be, where he can pick exactly where he's going, talk to coaches, see how he's going to be involved, and go from there. I think that would really rejuvenate his career.
So I'm saying I'm buying low in Dynasty and even keeper leagues. I'm going to buy low on him as much as I can because, like I said earlier, I'm just betting on talent, and he has a plethora of talent.
See, the keeper league thing is interesting. The keeper league stance on that is interesting just because he was taken in the third or fourth round in a lot of places, and I'm not sure I'm willing to buy him there in a keeper league.
Yeah, he's obviously his value is going to take a hit, but if he does go somewhere else, that's going to make him a main part of the offense. I'll give him to me all day in the third or fourth round.
Okay, so you
can't make me quit him, Ryan.
Just for a value standpoint on where he's viewed at right now, okay? On DLF Trade Finder leagues, these are trades that have actually happened in leagues on DLF. Allen Robinson and Michael Thomas for Adam Thielen and Zach Ertz. Allen Robinson, a 22 third and a 23 second for Rob Gronkowski.
What? You're joking.
No. These are Allen Robinson for Dawson Knox straight up.
You're kind of perking my ears with that one, but I'm still Robinson over.
In a non-tight end premium league, though, that is not something I'm doing.
No, probably not.
Let's see what else we got here. Oh, God, that one's just – all right. This is just ugly in general. Deontay Foreman, Zeke, and Dawson Knox for Allen Robinson, CMC, and a first. A 22 first.
Oof. Oh, God.
Allen Robinson straight up for a third.
That's just bogus.
You know what I mean? Like it's it's kind of crazy where his value has dropped off at. That CMC one is nuts. That's a trade that if I saw that, I'm a commissioner in a lot of our leagues. If I ever saw that go through, I'm not a veto guy, but I'm vetoing that immediately. The moment that comes through, I'm like, nope, there's no way that trade is going through. I don't care if it's your team or not.
That's
borderline kicking you from the league for that trade. Higgins or CEH at flex PPR. What do you got, Dan?
Higgins. I'm not a CEH guy.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're not a big CEH guy.
Nope. I liked him in LSU because I like LSU. And I thought, oh my God, he's going to the Chiefs. Like, let's go. Spending that high of a draft capital on him was a little bit suspect, but just him going to the Chiefs was a cool move to see. But it just hasn't worked out. And you always want, for me anyways, I want receivers in my flex in PPR.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
I traditionally want running backs in my flex if I can do it. If I can afford to have, if I have 3 stud running backs and I start 2, I prefer to have that third running back in my flex. But
but someone like CEH, you won't find me. I won't start him unless I absolutely have to. Higgins is at least a focal part. He's a pretty focal part of the offense, if I'm being honest. Like, Burrow and him have a good connection, not as good as Chase and him, but I mean he did good last year and he's starting to pick it up this year towards the end of the season, and I'll take Higgins because I think he has more touchdown upside than CEH does. CEH is just not that good.
So I like CEH, but I'm going to go with Higgins here as well, and it's only because Denver is really tough against the run, and B, they're playing in a worse weather game.
Yeah.
Weather is not supposed to be great there. Denver's 8th in PPR points allowed to running back so far this year. And CH is, he was questionable coming in, so you have the injury risk a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I would just rather take the safer 4 with Higgins and just kind of go from there. I do like CEH personally. Like, he's a guy that I'm kind of targeting in dynasty leagues.
Mm-hmm.
But
I get it. I don't doubt or fault anybody for wanting him, but you just won't catch him on any of my teams.
It's just crazy because you traditionally want a Andy Reid running back for fantasy.
Oh, for sure.
It's
but
been working out for CEH for whatever reason. They drafted him as a pass catching running back. They're not using him as a pass catching running back,
mm-hmm.
and it's just, I don't know. It's weird, but I'm going to start Higgins here. Just not a great matchup against the Chargers, but
they're going to be all over Jamar Chase, I feel like. So,
well, you look at the tape, and Jamar Chase is getting doubled on. He's got bracket coverage on literally, well, not literally, but it seems like every single route he runs, he's got bracket coverage on him. It just kind of opens up the field for T. Higgins. And Chris Harris Jr. is likely to see Chris Harris Jr. is going to see Tyler Boyd a lot, so I don't expect him to be involved.
yeah.
So it's likely going to be T. Higgins when they do throw the ball, because they just the way defense is covering Chase. It's just I think teams would rather let T. Higgins beat them underneath as opposed to letting Jamar Chase kill him for 80. So
yeah, and if he's gonna just get dink and dunk, like if he's gonna get, you're telling me he's gonna get like eight targets? That's quite a bit. But if he gets 8 targets, he is going to have a monster game, because one of them at least is going to be in the end zone for a touchdown. Like, he gets targeted in the end zone. He's a big body, and he's good. Like, he's good, and there's a trust there, like I was saying. And I'll take Higgins over him any day. I'd almost take Boyd over CEH. I'm just so far gone off of him.
Shut your mouth.
No,
You don't start a third string wide receiver over a starting running back, Dan.
I would.
Don't be giving our audience bad
advice. CEH. It's CEH. I'm out.
JM also has, you guys think Hopkins is a safe 4 this week? No. I do not think Hopkins is a safe 4.
I think his floor this week is like 4 or 5.
0. No, I think it's 4-0.
You think so?
Yeah. I just don't trust hamstrings. Like,
yeah,
I don't like it. Like, 0 might be over an exaggeration, because if he is healthy and ready to go, I just thought about this, and I don't know why I didn't think about it earlier. They're sitting at 9-2 right now, right? Like, Arizona's sitting at 9-2. They're winning their division as of right now. Might even have the top seed in the NFC right now. Would they really bring Hopkins back if they thought for a second that he could re-aggravate his injury?
That's a good
we saw
point,
it last week with Aaron Jones, where me and Jeremy talked about it on last week's show. We didn't think Aaron Jones was going to play last week, and we said they got the bye week this coming week. AJ Dillon's been effective. Why not just sit him, let him rest up, get completely healed? He played. A lot of people started him, and he did basically nothing for your team.
Yeah, 2 points.
So, and that's the stance that I was at too last week, was that if he's a full go, if he's going to play, that means that they trust him enough to have a full workload and let him go. So for me, it's just the fact that Hopkins has been off for multiple weeks now, and Kyler's been off for a couple weeks. Kyler might not even look the same today. He might still have a good week in terms of like fantasy, but in terms of throwing the football, he might not be the 72% completion percentage Kyler that we've seen because he's been off for so long.
Mm.
And
Look at Ross.
Different injury, but
but still coming off an injury, yeah.
But when you think about like just the overall grand scheme of things, he's coming off of the injury. Arizona plays Chicago, who doesn't necessarily scare you, but they're not terrible against anything in terms of defensive categories. Like they're 15th against quarterbacks. They're 26th against wide receivers, but they only let up 12.6 yard receptions a game to wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
So they're giving up touchdowns more than anything as opposed to catches and yards.
Yeah.
So it's I don't think he has a safe floor by any means. There's too many things involved that make me say that I don't trust his floor by any means. He very well could score you points, but it depends on your options.
Yeah.
Depends
for
on
sure. Because he could do what he did the one week, catch that long touchdown, and then that's it.
Yeah. If you're choosing to start him over like a Josh Reynolds this week, go ahead and start Hopkins.
Mm-hmm.
But if your option is like T. Higgins or we talked about Devonte Parker,
Devonte Smith.
Devonte Smith. Like if one of these guys are your maybe guys that you're thinking about, you're questioning because of their quarterback situation or injuries or whatever, I think I would rather just play it safe with one of those guys. And you're not even really playing it safe. It's just less of a risk of getting a 0 for your team.
Mm-hmm.
That's just kind of where I'm at. I think his floor is 0, so I don't think his floor is safe by any means. But like you said, Dan, he very well could take 175 yards to the house and then say, okay, I can't. That just messed me up. I'm done for the game. And he still scores you double-digit points, but it's not a good way to do it.
Just take his name out of just take Hopkins off. Are you going to start somebody fresh off of a hamstring injury and expect them to have a good floor? I'm going to go on the side to say no. I mean, if anybody can do it, it is DeAndre Hopkins. But at some point, we have to start looking at just straight up. He's coming off of a pretty serious injury, and it's a hamstring. They always linger. I think his floor is 4 or 5, and that's being quite generous.
And the other thing is, we saw it last week where he played. I mean, how many snaps into that game was it where he caught that long ball and then limped off the field?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and they're playing on a loose natural grass turf or natural grass field. They're not playing on turf.
Mm-hmm.
And it's supposed to be bad weather. I'm not a fan of it. I could be wrong. I very well could be wrong. You can't see into the future and say, do not start him by any means. But
again, I have to start him in our dynasty league, and I am freaking out about it. I don't like it, but I have to.
Yeah, it is what it is. Is Darrell Williams going to play? Him, Burkhead, Beasley, Breida, Hawkinson, Tevin Coleman, pick 2 at PPR.
You can't make me.
Yeah, not doing it.
Oh God!
Reminds me of that scene. Reminds me of that scene from The League where Kevin has to throw up Jenny's earrings, and he's like, "I'm not a 16-year-old girl who thinks she's bulimic or whatever. I'm not a 16-year-old bulimic girl who thinks she's fat. I'm not doing it."
Oh God! I mean, if Darrell plays, you got to probably play him over any of these guys. I don't. This is more
Darrell Williams. Yeah. I'm assuming that's who it is, or is that Henderson? Maybe it's Henderson.
Yeah, if it's Henderson, you have to play him if he plays. God. Is Zach Moss active? Or is he
No idea. Don't ask me. No idea. No clue. I do know that my opponent, Johnny Himes, has to play him this week in our dynasty league, though.
Mm-hmm.
Who's in a winner get in playoff scenario? Like I shockingly am for that league.
I am too. I have to play somebody who's 10-3. So
Yeah, you got
Greg.
Mr. Bednez.
Yep, it's not looking too pretty for old Dan this year. But oh god, pick 2. Darrell if he plays, and Hawkinson, I guess. If he doesn't play, I'll go Hawkinson, Matt Breida. I'm not.
Against New England that's a bad game. I mean, I don't know if you saw the weather up there, but it is bad. It is not looking good.
It's gonna be gross, but look at the other options that he has. Tevin Coleman, I can't even look at. Beasley, Beasley would be okay, but I think Manny Sanders is gonna catch a big one this week. So I think
you don't like Rex Burkhead with David Johnson being out?
No, you can't. No, you can't make me like it either. No.
Why?
No.
You got to give him a chance.
Who are they playing?
The Colts.
No. Oh God, no. No.
And Brandon Cooks is questionable.
Still no. I'll go Breida and Hawkinson if Henderson is out. If Henderson plays, it's Hawkinson and Henderson. Hawkinson's a for sure, though, out of this group.
Yeah, I would agree. You got to start Hawkinson here. Even though that matchup is not good.
No, it isn't at all. No.
But he just feels like he has the most upside of this group without Darrell Henderson playing. Oh boy. Yeah, obviously it's Darrell and Hawkinson if Darrell plays, and then if he doesn't play, I think I'm going to start Rex Burkhead. I don't like it.
No.
But the matchup with New England and the weather that's supposed to be up there on Monday night, I'm not a huge fan of it. Dan, I was actually getting ready to about to go to this game. Our job offered discounted tickets to go.
Oh yeah, I did see that. Yeah,
this was one of the games, and I strongly considered going. And then I looked at the forecast and said, "Absolutely not! I am not going anywhere near that stadium."
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Anyways, for me, I'm gonna go Burkhead and Hawkinson if Darrell does not play, just because with David Johnson being out, he's literally the only back that they have to run out there. So it's a terrible matchup. Indy could be up by 35 come halftime, but
you want to know something gross? I have to play Ramondre Stevenson as my RB2 in one of my most competitive leagues I'm in. He's my RB2 this week, and I am freaking out. I'm 6-6, and I need a win. And it was him or Tevin Coleman or Burkhead, and
start Burkhead.
No. Oh, good Lord, no. I'll take the off chance that Ramondre catches a pass and takes it home.
I'll tell you what, I am nervous about tomorrow night, man. As a Bills fan, I am nervous.
Yeah. Oh no!
Jalen Hurts out. Oh God!
Is Heineke on your waiver wire? I'd play him over them too. Wow. I mean, you don't want Big Ben. Anything Big Ben?
No, I'm not getting Big Ben. I'd rather have Minshew over Big Ben.
Unless you get there's a weird league where you get extra points for throwing at the line of scrimmage. I wouldn't play Big Ben. I'd go Gardner just based off of.
You get extra points for having a negative ADOT.
Yeah.
Then you can start Ben Roethlisberger.
You get extra points for being a statue in the pocket too.
All right. So
yeah, that's Gardner.
I'm looking back here. The last time we saw Gardner Minshew as a starting quarterback, he put up double-digit points in every single game.
He's good, dude. Like, he's really not that bad.
Actually, I take that back. I'm going to rephrase that. He put up at least 15 in all but one game and had over 20 in 6 games.
Mm-hmm.
He is not terrible.
No, he's not.
And
he does not give a single shit. He will throw the ball anywhere.
Yeah. I'm going to say this, and I'm not saying this to say that Minshew is by any means better than Jalen Hurts, because I don't believe that. But he will bring a different swagger to that offense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
He will
Minshewmania, baby.
He is confident in himself. He believes that he can be a starting quarterback in this league. And I don't know if he can be like a franchise quarterback by any means, but in this type of situation, I think this is exactly what you have him for, is to be this spot starter that isn't going to kill you.
Be the Nick Foles of the Eagles.
Yeah. Nick Foles is not a starting quarterback in the NFL, but he is a guy that you can absolutely plug and play for a week or 2 or 3 to get you to a Super Bowl. Who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm perfectly fine with grabbing Gardner Minshew. I am not fine with grabbing Big Ben. There is
no.
Even I honestly think that in a super flex league, I would be starting a flex player over Big Ben. If he's my only other option, if I have Jalen Hurts, Big Ben, and I don't know, give me a stud Mahomes. If I have those 3 of my quarterbacks, I'm starting a flex player over Big Ben.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't care what the projections say on Sleeper or ESPN or whatever it is. He's probably projected for lower than some of the flex players that you have.
I think it's like 15 or 17.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's not something I want.
Give me CEH over Big Ben.
What?
Bam.
So Big Ben's already retired to you. Is what you're saying?
Yeah.
All right. Thoughts on Barkley this week? Saquon Barkley up against the I just blanked out of my head. Miami Dolphins. All right. Going against Miami. Last week was not good outside of his one big run that he had. I think he averaged like 2 yards a carry or something like that outside of that big run.
He's never been a big like yards per carry type of guy. His yards per carry actually suck. He just gets so much work everywhere else. Like, oh God, I have him on one team out of my 20 leagues that we're in. I am on one team, and it's a struggle to start him with confidence every week. Like I think instead of second round Saquon, I think it should be third round Saquon. Like, he's just not playing up to his ability.
He's not going to be I would be shocked if he's a second round pick next year.
Yeah.
If he keeps up what he's doing, I would be shocked if he's a second round pick next year. The upside is obviously there.
Yeah.
But this week, Daniel Jones is out. He's not playing. Caden Smith is out. Adoree Jackson's out for the Giants. Sterling Shepard, Kadarius Toney are both doubtful.
Counter argument, though, with Glennon starting, he could just dump it off to Saquon 15 times. And
that's where I was getting to, is that they have all these weapons out. They might not have a choice. Like, even if they wanted to keep it away from Saquon for whatever reason that may be, they might not have a choice but to target him a ton. Because Galladay has been a bust of a bust so far this year.
Yeah.
Tony's down. Sterling Shepard's likely down. Daniel Jones is down. Mike Glennon literally has Evan Ingram and
Dante Pettis, baby.
Saquon Barkley. Isn't he still on IR?
Is he?
I think so. I dropped him. I had him in a league. I put him on IR, and I was like, I don't even know why I'm stashing him.
Ingram, Slayton.
Yeah, he's still on IR. He's out for the season.
Oh, God. Slayton? Did they have Slayton?
Yeah, Slayton should be available. But still, John Ross You want John Ross?
CEH.
No. I'll take CEH for $100, please. Yeah. So they very well could just dump off to Saquon.
If he's my RB2 this week, I'm okay. If he's my RB1, I'm kind of freaking out.
I don't even want him in RB2. I think he's flex at best right now.
Where you drafted him, he's probably your RB2.
We're past that point in the season, though. We're past.
I know, but like, dude,
where you drafted him at anymore. It's not. You've had waiver claims and all that stuff. Like, Elijah Mitchell was undrafted. You're now starting him every single week. Yeah. So we can't go based off of where we drafted guys anymore. It's just not. Your trade deadline's probably passed. Like, you could have moved on from him at some point. Like, you're not. No, I'm not trusting him as my RB2. He's
a good flex.
Unless I have to. He's like a fringe flex player for me at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just from what we've seen. Like, it hasn't been good.
Yeah. He doesn't even look the same.
No.
He's not as explosive as he was. Just not good.
I will say, though, that next year, when his value is down, he might be worth the pick in that third round if he does fall there, because he'll have a full year off of that injury.
Mm-hmm.
He'll probably – that offense as a whole and that team as a whole should get better in the offseason, you would think.
Yeah, they're going to have Russell Wilson.
Whether they move on from Daniel Jones or not is probably the biggest question of this entire offense, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
If they move on from him, which I'm not sure if they should or not, he's probably better than the majority of the guys that are coming out for the draft this year in terms of quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And even if he's not better than a few of the guys, those guys are already getting taken ahead of where they're going to be anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think he's better than most of the quarterbacks drafted in this year's class.
I don't know. He's really inconsistent.
He is, yeah.
And he's just not – he doesn't seem like a natural thrower. Like, he just seems like a good football player.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he just seems like he's a guy that you –
He has brought down the turnovers, though. That's a huge – that's huge for him.
Well, he had like 67 of them last year, so I mean, kind of hard to not go up from there.
Yeah, yeah.
But on a per game basis, yes, he has definitely dropped him down. He has looked better, even with the banged up receiving core.
He made Dante Pettis relevant for a week or two. Like, he has some upside. I don't hate Daniel Jones. I beat the drum on him last year, and it bit me. But he's serviceable, I guess.
I just don't know if they view him as the franchise guy. Is what like I think he's. I don't know. I just don't know if he's gonna be the guy that they move forward with.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if they look at him and say, "Yeah, we can definitely win a Super Bowl with this guy moving forward," I think they would be mistaken with that.
I think that they move on. I honestly, God, think they get Russell. Like, that would be.
Yeah, but how are they going to get Russell? What are you going to give up to get Russell Wilson? The whole team. We'll just sell you our team if you just get Russell Wilson. Yeah, but even with Russell playing the way he's playing, are you willing to take the gamble on him? Or do you think the whole Russ injury thing is just a recency thing and it fades away after?
He came back. I think he came back too soon. We've seen it over his whole career. He's been as legit as it gets.
I said that last week or 2 weeks ago when they brought him back.
Mm-hmm.
I said I was not willing to start him because I thought it was a little too soon with the finger. I thought the weather was going to affect his finger. Jeremy straight up laughed at me on the computer screen. It was like, "You're an idiot for thinking that the weather's going to affect his finger," and it has. It's definitely affected. what he's been able to do. It's affected how he's been able to throw the football. It's affected that offense in general. So I'm hoping that gets better. But if the Giants were to get Russell, then that would significantly increase Barkley's upside.
Yeah.
But sorry, that wasn't even the question. We got off on a tangent there. Thoughts on Barkley for this week is that he's
good flex,
borderline flex play with RB2 upside. That's basically it. Like I can't trust him for anything more than that until I see it.
Yeah, he's a good flex.
You have a large enough sample size now that you should kind of know what you're getting from him at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any? It's 11:30. Is there any more? Is breaking news for ins and outs been dropped yet?
No, I can't. I haven't seen anything.
I'm not even on Twitter right now, which I should be. Let me look and see real quick here.
Sleeper hasn't come out with anything yet. Their lists or anything.
All right, so I'll ask you this, Dan. You're a Titans fan, but you have family and friends that are Pittsburgh Steelers fans.
Too many, yes.
Who is the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers next year?
Oh, God. Oh, my God, Ryan. Why? I'm going to – oh, God. I could see him trying Haskins out, just trying. If they make a trade, I could see them either making a trade or signing somebody. Like I heard a rumbling about Mr. Rogers going there, and I would just quit watching football if that happened. I'm so sick of them. But
why?
Oh God, they just win all the time. It bugs me. But I could see. It's not going to be good, I don't think, unless they make a trade. They're not going to get the way that they're going right now. They're not going to get a high enough draft pick to draft a decent quarterback. I'm going to say it's not going to be Mason Rudolph. He's utter garbage.
I'll tell you what, they saw. I've been seeing a lot of Kenny Pickett to Pittsburgh, the quarterback for Pitt, and. Yeah. I like Kenny Pickett. Not sure he fits into that offense the way I don't know. I haven't watched enough college football yet to know. Like, that's not my forte this time of year. Like, I don't watch a whole lot of college football. But the little bit that I have watched doesn't feel like he fits that offense very well. But I'll know more about that after the season's over. Probably right after the Super Bowl, I'll probably start watching film and all that stuff on guys. But that QB spot is going to be a very interesting location for.
That's a really coveted spot. Like,
yeah,
you're going to the Steelers. They have a top 5 running back going forward. They have 2 receivers that are going to be there next year. I don't know if Juju will, but. And they have the Muth. I mean,
did Juju sign a 2-year deal? Did Juju sign a 2-year deal, or did he sign just a 1-year deal?
I thought it was just one.
I don't know. Get it real quick. I mean, DJ's there. He signed a 1-year, $8 million deal. So he looks like he's probably looking to stay in Pittsburgh, to be honest with you. He probably just wanted to, although now with the injury, I don't know
if they'll want him.
What their plans are. Yeah, I don't know if James Washington showed that he can be effective. They have other guys there that could fill his role.
McLeod.
Including Deontay Johnson. Rodney McLeod, yeah, he's been – or Ray McLeod, sorry, not Rodney McLeod. Ray McLeod's been in that role a little bit here and there now.
And Washington has shown flashes of being great too.
Yeah, I mean, they've always had a relatively deep wide receiving core. At least
that's the one thing about them that they always draft receivers well, and they always draft their line well.
Well, and they develop well. They know how to home grow their talent. They don't usually go crazy on free agent spending money. They usually just develop their guys and get them kind of where they want to be. And they're usually contending for their division every single year, it seems like. So I don't know. It's just an interesting. It's definitely going to be an interesting talking point all the way up through free agency and until they get somebody there. It's definitely going to be a big talking point at the draft. It's definitely going to be a big talking point once free agent opens up if they don't draft a quarterback in the first round. And even if they do, if they were to get a guy like Rodgers who only might have a few more years left, because Rodgers, even he seems like he's kind of meh about playing football anymore.
Well, he's just not happy in Green Bay. Like, that's well known.
Can you imagine if both him and Adams went to Pittsburgh? If they somehow figured out a way to get them in Pittsburgh,
just sign them up for the next couple Super Bowls. You
saw that, and you had to have seen that little look that Tomlin and Rodgers gave each other when they were playing each other a couple weeks ago. Like, that was blasted all over social media.
If I'm them, I'm either blowing my load to get Rodgers or I'm going all in and trying to get Watson. They need a quarterback, and if I'm them, they have to.
I don't think that city is prepared for a rebuild. I don't, just as a football fan base, just for the people that I know and the people that you know, I know for a fact that team or that those fans do not want to see a rebuild. They
have to contend.
Yeah, they're not the fan base that can deal with having that large of a rebuild.
Because they're not used to it. It's been
especially this time of year.
Yeah.
Like, given the recent history, they are not ready for that type of just long struggle.
And they shouldn't rebuild either. Like, they have top 5 defense. They have top tier weapons. They just don't have a facilitator.
What about Matty Ice?
He's washed.
Think
he's still got more in the tank than Big Ben, but it's like quarter of a tank and just about on E.
think it's just a you think it's just an egg disguised as another egg?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Polish a turd, it's still a turd, bud.
I don't know. I can shine stuff up pretty good at work, so.
Yeah.
All right. John I have Taylor, Mixon, and Henderson as my flex. Looking like Henderson is out, so I picked up his handcuff Michelle. Should I play him, Clyde, or Miles Sanders today? Well, I know for a fact Dan's not going to tell you to play Clyde Edwards-Helaire over these guys.
He could be at the bottom of your bench.
So I like Miles Sanders in this matchup. I really do. I know their usage of him has been volatile at very best, to say the least. But with Gardner Minshew being their quarterback today, going against the Jets, who are dead last in terms of points allowed to running backs so far this year, I'm just not – that's just too many positive things going in Miles Sanders' favor to sit him for a guy like Michelle or Clyde. But if Henderson's playing, I'm playing him over any of these guys.
Oh, man.
But Henderson's upside is capped with the injury. If he's coming down to this long of a decision, he's probably going to be limited.
It's the same thing we talked about with Hopkins. Like, if he's playing, and like you said, if it's this long, he's probably going to be limited. Take the name off. Any player that's limited, I don't care who it is.
It kind of reminds me of the Aaron Jones situation we were just talking about a little bit ago. Is that you're going to play him, or a lot of people are saying, play him if he's starting, but should he be playing is the better question. If he's not going to be there, or if he's going to be out there and he's not going to be 100%, like we saw Aaron Jones did, and he kills your team, especially at this point in the year where you might be fighting for a playoff spot. Which, if you have Taylor and Mixon, I doubt you're fighting for a playoff spot.
Yeah, you're probably set good.
But if you are one of these teams that's fighting for a spot, I'm not willing to take the gamble on Henderson playing and then have him do what Aaron Jones did, because then not only does it limit Henderson's upside, it also caps Michelle's upside that he brings you. So you're kind of taking both of those guys away, and you're down to Clyde and Miles Sanders, and I would just rather have Miles Sanders and Clyde.
Yeah. As we're going through this show, I'm not starting Clyde. I'm not going to get into that point, but I'm slowly leaning towards Sanders over Michelle if he's the lead guy. Gardner had Robinson last year, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and Robinson was just an absolute tank. He was getting targets, yards, everything. Oh my God, this is tough. Yeah, if Henderson's out, just play Sanders, but you can't feel confident.
The Eagles should be a positive game script too. It's not like they should be losing to the Jets. Even with Minshew, I don't think that they should be losing. Michael Carter's not playing. Corey Davis is questionable. Zach Wilson has not looked good. They should not. That game should be in the Eagles' favor. And I'm not saying they're going to blow them out, but it should be in the Eagles' favor.
Well, the Jets shouldn't have done what they did against the Titans either, and the Bengals. Like they play hard.
This year is just weird. I hate it.
Yeah, my mind is mush from this year. Sanders, I guess. Not confident in that though.
Not at all?
No, I'm not confident in that.
So if you're just looking at what Miles has done the last few weeks, and like I said, the usage is very volatile for some reason. I don't know what it is, but it seems like when they do what they're supposed to do or what we expect them to do with him, they win games and he looks good. And then they give him 9 carries the following week and he doesn't look good.
And he has potential to take one, against the Bucs the one game he had the one rush for 50 yards. He has big playability. They just need to give him the ball.
He's averaged less than 4.2 yards per carry once all year.
Mm-hmm.
One time.
Yeah, that
was against Kansas City when he's had 7 rushes for 13 yards, but he still saw 3 targets. Mm-hmm. So they just need to get him involved. It's not – I don't think it's that hard to ask.
I can't remember what game it was, but did you hear the Eagles crowd when they gave him that handoff? They want him – the fans want him to get the ball. They see what everybody else sees except for Sirianni. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know if you follow Shane Manila on Twitter, but him and his team have a pretty large podcast following, and he is a devout Eagles fan. I think I'm pretty sure he lives in Philly, and 2 weeks ago when they gave him those, I think it was 19 carries or whatever, he was like, it's amazing what a running back will do, or a good running back will do if you give him the work. Yeah. And then the very next week he was like, I hate Philadelphia. I don't even know why I do this. So just I feel bad. I do. Mm-hmm. I wish Buffalo had a running back like Miles Sanders.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I really do. Granted, I have more confidence in our coaching staff to properly use a running back like him, but still, it's just
can't even say that.
No, I do.
They have 2 serviceable running backs. I mean, Moss and Singletary have both shown that they can run the ball, but I don't think the coaches like them.
Yeah, but they're still not on a talent level as Miles Sanders is. I don't think that they're as good as he is.
Yeah.
That's why Matt Breida is now our RB2, and Zach Moss is a healthy scratch.
Yeah.
If he is again today, I don't know. Knowing my luck, I was talking to Jeremy about this on Tuesday, that he was a healthy scratch this week or last week, and then he'll probably be active this week. They'll give him 35 carries. He'll run for 200 yards, and I'll I'll get my butt kicked in our fantasy league because Junior has to start Moss.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I don't know what to do about this year anymore. I'm kind of I'm fantasied out. I'm in 27 leagues.
Riddle me this, Ryan, if
It's
you
just
could.
crazy.
If you have Lamar Jackson, okay,
Yep.
DJ Moore, Aaron
Okay.
Jones, Zeke, Kareem Hunt, and Travis Kelce, and I'm 6-6. Can you? What the hell?
Well, DJ Moore's little stretch of mediocrity probably hurt your team quite a bit.
But you look at the Lamar, Jones, Zeke, and Kelce. Those four, come on.
Oh yeah, when you drafted that team, you were probably like, "Oh, I'm cakewalking to the playoffs at the very least."
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm sitting at 6-6, starting Ramondre Stevenson as my RB2.
what you know what? I don't even want to hear it from you because I have Burrow, Gibson, CMC, Chase, Godwin, Tyreek Hill,
Yeah.
Devonte Smith. Like that's been my team basically all year,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm 6-6, and I have to win to get in the playoffs this year. I did have George Kittle, traded him away, got Kyle Pitts in that trade. Thought, okay, this solidifies my tight end spot for a handful of years. It doesn't take a whole lot of production away from me now. And CMC has actually absolutely wrecked my team.
Mm-hmm.
And just out other guys not performing. It's just it's been bad.
Yeah. Yes,
I think
has.
I have in this league that we're talking about here, I have more losses this year than I had the past 2 years combined.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, yeah.
In the regular season.
I think you had 2 last year, right?
I was 10-2 last year, and I was 9-3 our first year we did it.
Mm-hmm.
This is year 3, and I have the most losses I've had since we started playing. And my roster is debatably better. So I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't understand what's happening in fantasy this year. I don't get it. I don't like it. Not a fan. I think I'm just going to be done with fantasy in general. Not playing it all next year.
Maybe we won't do 20 leagues together.
Yeah, maybe I won't just send you a random invite and be like, here, join this random league.
It's been rough out here.
I am fully committed to this, though. I am not doing any free leagues next year unless it's a charitable league.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not playing for money next year, I'm just not doing it. I have too many leagues. Like it literally takes me like an hour to go through my lineups and set them up.
Yeah, we're done at 12-ish?
Yeah.
It's going to take me up until kickoff to get all my stuff in order.
Yeah. The one week I forgot to finish setting my lineup with that league that we're in, the main league that we're in together. I'm going through. I know I had to make some changes and went and made my kids lunch. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm good to go. And the next thing I know, I look and flex spot's empty. I'm like, you son of a brick.
Yeah.
It's just that's not how I want to be as a fantasy player. I don't want to be that guy that's forgetting to set lineups all the way or leaving injured players in or bye week guys in. Like I don't want to be like that. So I have a really hard time. I have a really hard time not paying attention and getting all my leagues in. Even in the leagues that I could have went, even in the leagues that I did go all the way through and look, even in leagues that I did that, there were still times where I would leave, like when Kareem Hunt got injured, I left him in my lineup the first week he got injured in one of the leagues because he was in my flex spot and didn't really notice.
Yeah. Hopkins is active. He is.
What's that?
Hopkins is upgraded to a full go.
Yep. I did see that. Him and Kyler both.
Mm-hmm. Still don't like the floor.
No. Got a question from Twitter. I'll type it up real quick. Oh, I put Huto. What an idiot. Who to bench to play D-Hop? I'm assuming that's Brandon Cooks, T. Higgins, CEH. And also, would you drop Gesicki, Darrell Williams, or Bateman for the
For the
Muth?
Muth. Oh my God! Drop Darrell Williams for the Muth.
See, having CEH, I'm kind of hesitant on that. I kind of like having the handcuff, especially at this point.
Well, I think Darrell Williams is better than CEH. So yeah.
So why are you dropping him?
Because I mean, he's as long as CEH is healthy, he's not going to get more work. Like he's not going to get a huge workload.
Yeah, but you know his upside when he's out.
Yeah, that is
so
true.
For me, I'm dropping Gesicki. Miami goes on a bye next week. Freiermuth has been more consistently involved than Gesicki has. Gesicki has had his stretches and had his moments, but I'm taking Ben loves Pat Freiermuth.
I know. Yeah, he does.
He loves to target him. He's a huge red zone target. So for me, I'm dropping Gesicki for Pat Freiermuth in that situation. And then for D-Hop, I think I saw somewhere that Cooks is questionable or maybe even doubtful. He's questionable with illness, but he's likely. So for me, I'm starting him against the Colts over Higgins, CEH, and D-Hop. Just because he's a target monster. He sees way too much. He's not competing with anybody for targets like Higgins is. He's a target monster. So that's where I'm at with this.
Yeah. I'd almost God. Yeah, I'd probably that's so tough. I'm just gonna keep going with the theme here. I'm gonna bet CEH for D-Hop. Nobody can make me like CEH. He can hurt me. I'll be totally wrong. That's okay. I just am not a CEH guy.
Oh, shoot. I think I read that. I actually think I read that wrong. I'm starting Cooks and I'm starting Higgins.
Okay.
It says who to bench to play D-Hop. So I'm not benching Brandon Cooks. I don't think I'm benching T. Higgins for D-Hop this week.
No, I'm benching
So if
CEH.
I had to choose one, it would be CEH to bench for D-Hop. But I don't like starting D-Hop this week either. So.
I don't. No, I don't either. But I don't like CEH even more.
I hope CEH goes off for like 300 yards today, like 300 total yards.
He's going to because I'm beating the drum so hard.
I'm not having him.
He can hurt me. That's okay. I'll take the L.
I know I'm not dropping Bateman.
No, you can't.
I'm also not dropping Darrell Williams just because you already have CEH and you have the handcuff to CEH who's already proven to be effective. It's just, I said it on Tuesday, like this is a time of year where you go and you drop like your roster clogging wide receivers and running backs for guys like Khalil Herbert or Darrell Williams or
AJ Dillon.
Oh yeah, AJ Dillon's mainly rostered, so I can't.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is with him. But like Madison should have been rostered already. AJ Dillon should have been rostered already. All these guys that have upside. Sony Michel should have been rostered already. All these guys that have proven to have upside without the starting running back should be rostered anyway.
Yeah, I'll take back what I said. Yeah, I'll probably end up dropping Gesicki for Freiermuth because baby, it's like Heath Miller all over again.
No, it really is.
I am here for that.
And the other thing that played a factor too was that Miami's on a bye next week, so you're not using Gesicki You're not using Gesicki next week. Pat Freiermuth is already on his bye. He has just as much upside, if not more, than Gesicki does. So for me, it's just kind of easy there. Half PPR, Waddle, Marquise Brown, I'm assuming Devontae Freeman and Elijah Moore need 2.
Waddle's a definite out of the group. I'm just going to get that out of the way. He's as close to must start as you can get. I'm going to go, even though I like Bateman, I'm going to go Hollywood here because he just, like, he's a deep threat, so it's going to take one, and he could go 80 yards with that one pass, catch a touchdown. He could easily win you your week off of 3 catches. So I'm going to go Waddle and Marquise Brown.
Yeah. Morphing into like a prime Tyler Lockett, where he was just could literally go bonkers for weeks at a time and then just kind of kill you in a couple weeks and then go bonkers again for a couple. Like that's just kind of how I feel with him.
Yeah.
Elijah Moore has been solid lately, but Steven Nelson and Darius Slay have both been extremely tough to wide receivers so far this year. Darius Slay might be an all-pro cornerback this year.
Yeah, and Zach Wilson's throwing him the football.
Yeah, and with Zach, I mean, if I remember correctly, Elijah Moore still had a decent, didn't he?
He had 8 targets last week with Wilson, but
which is encouraging because he wasn't seeing that target volume before.
Yeah, but how many of those balls are going to be catchable?
That's the problem.
My only. Yeah, it's
therein lies the problem. I'm taking Waddle and I'm taking Waddle and Marquise Brown here. I just feel like the upside on Marquise Brown's too high. Joe Hayden's going to be missing from the Steelers defense again this week, and they've given up a lot of yards to wide receivers since he's been out. So
they've been surprisingly pretty bad lately. They haven't been.
Even season long, they're still giving up 38 points a game to wide receivers. So they've definitely gotten progressively worse over the last couple weeks. But like I said, Joe Hayden being out has definitely not helped that case any.
Yeah.
And the upside is just too high on Mark to bench him right now. I know we said it last week too, but he was coming off the injury. Should have another full. He's not on the injury report at all, as far as I know. So I think he's fully healthy, ready to go. So you'll have 2 massive upside guys in Waddle and Freeman, or Waddle and Marquise Brown playing, and that's kind of just where I lean with it. Pick 2, full PPR: Lockett, Mooney, and Pittman.
Oh my God, Lockett and Mooney for me.
Ooh, really?
Yep. I mean, I don't mind Pittman, but no Robinson. He's doubtful, if not out already. And he gets Robinson's target share. Like, he is the wide receiver 1 there. And going against, Detroit? Yeah. They're playing Detroit, right?
No. The Vikings play Detroit.
Oh.
I'm honestly looking for my Bears notes, and I'm not seeing them anywhere. I don't know why. For real, where are you? What is happening here? Oh, they play Arizona. They're Arizona's coming to them. They're at home against Arizona.
Okay. That's
you got Andy Dalton throwing on the football.
Which is an upgrade for right now.
Arizona is a top 10 defense to wide receivers in PPR this year. But what could be a shootout, or a lot of garbage time, I should say, not a shootout. Should be in a garbage time situation for me. See, I hate to make the garbage time argument because you don't know if that's going to be the case.
Yeah, Kyler could come out and look like garbage, and then it could be 20-17. Like,
and I'm not. It's supposed to be another bad weather game here in Chicago. Chicago obviously has traditionally not been nice to their stadium in terms of the weather.
Yeah,
last forever. So
I think Lockett's the only one you could for sure say is gonna, and that's
Yeah,
even rough.
The thing is like with them, you don't know if it's going to be Lockett or if it's going to be DK. Last week it happened to be Lockett, and DK was the one.
DK probably gets a squeaky wheel game, but Lockett, we just talked about with Marquise Brown, two or three catches, and he's going to have 15 to 20 points. Like, that's all he needs.
I know, but you just don't. The 49ers are so tough in terms of their secondary, and those games have been usually smash mouth football style of games recently. I think last year they had like a 33-30 like classic game. If I'm remembering correctly, pretty sure it was those two teams that had a classic back and forth 33-28, something like that. Crazy high scoring game. But traditionally these teams have played each other really tough because they know each other so well.
Yeah.
And I mean, the Niners are missing Debo. Seahawks haven't looked the same last few weeks with Russ being back. But could this be if this is the week that Russ turns it back on, then Lockett is almost locked into a top 15 wide receiver spot for the week.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I'll switch it. I'll go Lockett and Pittman. It kills me to go with a Colts player. Like, to my core, it hurts. But Pity City's been pretty good this year.
Yeah. It's T.Y. Hilton today.
I know it is, but
T.Y. Hilton today.
Oh, man. This one.
No, in all honesty, though, in that game, would you really not be surprised if Hilton were to have a touchdown or two and then Jonathan Taylor just runs the ball down the Texans' throat for 3 quarters?
It's probably going to be a big Jonathan Taylor game. But to start out, Hilton could catch 3-4 balls, get in the end zone, and Pittman could catch 3 or 4 balls, get in the end zone, and they're both viable starting options.
But what if it's Jack Doyle that catches another touchdown?
Well, then I'll just get sick to my stomach.
Then they're up 14-0, and now JT just comes in and finishes everything off. So
yeah,
I don't know.
55 carries.
Honestly, it's sad to say, but I feel like Mooney is probably the safest option.
I think Lockett does.
In terms of a guaranteed target share, I feel like Mooney is the safest option for what you're going to see. In terms of upside, Lockett probably has the most upside.
By far.
Mooney probably has the lowest upside. And Pittman is just kind of there. So I'll play it this way. I'll take one massive upside with Lockett, and I'll take the safest option with target share wise with Mooney. I think Pittman is just kind of middle of the road on both ends of the spectrum at this point, where it's T.Y. is going to be involved. He's just traditionally, historically speaking, he's always been involved against Houston. Jonathan Taylor is the best running back playing football at this moment. So they're going to run the ball. And I expect it to be a negative game script in terms of Pittman because they're going to be ahead. So that's where I'm leaning. I'm going to go the massive upside with Lockett. I'm going to take the safe target share for Mooney, and I'm going to bench Pittman.
I like it, but that one, yeah, it's tough.
You're probably good either way starting them.
As long as you start Lockett, just coin flip the other two.
As long as you start Lockett. You got to coin flip Lockett.
No.
On whether he's having a good game or not.
Nope. Lock him in there.
What do you mean no?
Nope, lock him in.
Can somebody out there tell me if Tyler Lockett's the wide receiver 1 for the year or something? Is that something that I missed during my week of research that I did for this show? Is that something that I missed? Oh no, he's wide receiver 23.
Yeah.
So our scoring is in this league is a little bit different. So just going based off of our main dynasty league that me and Dan are in together. Lockett's last 6 games is 12.6, 23.5, 4.3, 34.2, 3.2, 5.5. So no, you cannot just lock him into your lineup and say set it and forget it when he has 3 games of half of his games are less than 5 or 6 points. That's how I set it and forget it wide receiver. The upside's massive though.
For these 3,
the upside is massive.
With these 3, he's a set it and forget it with these 3 options. Yep.
Mooney's like a top 10 target share guy for the whole NFL. His target share is in the top 10.
Oh, he's incredible. Like the work he's getting is fantastic, but I'm a Lockett guy. Like I
know.
I'm not a DK guy. We'll keep that up. We'll save that for another time though.
How dare you not like DK? All right. So who'd you go with? Lockett and Mooney or Lockett and Pittman?
Yeah, Lockett and Pittman.
All right. I'm going Lockett and Mooney. So do what you will. AFZ Chips, who is a frequent stopper in at the show. Do you guys think that Van Jefferson is a wide receiver 3 for the rest of the season?
I'll start. No, he's I think he could honestly be a wide receiver 2.
So the answer is yes.
The answer is no.
The answer is yes.
The answer is no. He could be a wide receiver 2, even more than a wide receiver 3.
You think in that offense he can finish as a top 24 wide receiver?
Yeah, I do.
Season from here on out.
I really do.
Why?
He's seen an uptick in his targets.
I would like to know why.
Because he's seen an uptick in all of his targets. He's getting, even with Beckham there, he still got like work, and with Beckham being whatever he's got going on, I like Van Jefferson a lot. I think for the rest of the year, yeah, he could serve us as a wide receiver 2, a low end wide receiver 2, high end 3. But I think he could be top 24. No, he could be top 24.
No, you said wide receiver 2. You did not say high end wide receiver 3. You said no, he cannot be a wide receiver 3 because he's going to be a wide receiver 2. Don't be going and changing your stance out of nowhere like that.
I think he could easily be okay. He'll easily be a wide receiver 3, but I see him more as a wide receiver 2. Like I love that offense. I love what they can do. I think it's going to be a get right game for them, and I think we're going to really see. I think we're going to see Jefferson quite a bit the rest of the season because defenses are going to focus on Cup. They're going to focus on OBJ because he's a name for some reason, and it's just going to leave Van Jefferson open down the field. He's another one of these guys that it's just they just throw bombs to him and he catches them and gets touchdowns. Like he has more upside than OBJ in that offense for me anyways. I don't know about you.
Do you think Van Jefferson? Do you think this is in a PPR setting or standard or both?
I hope it's PPR.
See, me personally, I think I'd rather have guys like a Mooney rest of the season or Judy rest of the season. And then it just kind of tapers off from guys like that to just it's kind of a crapshoot, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I think he falls at the very back end of wide receiver 3s. I think if you took his stats from right this moment until the end of the year, I think he's a back end wide receiver 3, high end wide receiver 4. I think just Cooper Kupp we knew was gonna calm down, and we knew that he was not gonna score 37 touchdowns on the year.
Mm-hmm.
But he's still going to be heavily involved. Henderson still gets a relatively large target share, especially in the red zone. Pretty sure I saw a stat that he leads the league in in terms of running backs and red zone targets. OBJ is there, and they have openly stated they want to get him involved. Tyler Higbee is still there. He's not great, but he still sees a small target share.
Mhm.
Just a lot of things that have to break his way, I think, in order to break into upper echelon wide receiver 3, wide receiver 2. But I think, like I said, I think he's a low end wide receiver 3, high end wide receiver 4 the rest of the season. I just realized what time it was. That is a quarter after noon, and I don't have any of my lineups set. So I am going to end the show here. Dan, I appreciate you filling in for Jeremy while he does apparently more important things. I don't know what could be more important than talking to me and our audience about our show, or about fantasy football. But it's, you know what? It's fine. It's not.
I'm here anytime you need to fill in, buddy.
Actually, to be honest with you, Jeremy might need to fill in coming up because I have my kids start winter soccer here shortly.
Okay.
I think it's on Sundays. I'm not 100% sure yet, but I think it is. And unfortunately, I am a good dad and choose my kids' sports over fantasy football, so I'm going to have to go to that.
Yeah, things happen like that, I guess.
I volunteer to coach and stuff, so I kind of have to show up.
Yeah, that's just things you have to do.
Being an adult sucks. I wish I'd just be 19 and just talk fantasy football all day.
I know. Yeah, I wish it would have been this popular.
I wish it was this big and even 10 years ago, back when I actually had the time to do all this stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Either I wasn't into it enough to know that it was this big, or it was not nearly as big as it is now.
I don't think it's ever been this big. I've been playing for a long time. I don't think it's ever been this big.
Well, I mean, Scott Fishbowl has been around. I'm in Scott Fishbowl 11.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I was 18 or 19 when that first year started. So, I mean, it must have been relatively big. I just never heard about it.
Yeah.
It was never really on Twitter all that much. Maybe that's why. Maybe I missed out on it because of Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Too busy giving my computer viruses in college.
Yeah.
But, all right, man, if you want to let everybody know where they can find you at, anything you got to add?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at ParkFFB. I say it every time. Make sure and give the Yards Per Team a follow on Twitter. We're starting up. We're a startup company, but I mean, we're putting out some fantastic content. We're killing it, I think. And the website is free. Everything's free, and it shouldn't be. It's a great. It's great. No, it's a great.
It should not be free at all.
Great place to be. I don't really have too much going on right now. I am going to try to work on an article here for outlook for the fantasy playoffs. I'll probably do a little article about those and see how that turns out. But
you're in the same boat as me. You need to be focused on making the playoffs first before you start writing articles.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Outlook for fantasy football.
And I'm just going to limp through the playoffs and hope that my Titans make it so I can see Derrick Henry beat up on the Bills in the playoffs.
I saw that he might be back for week 14 or 15.
Don't.
And tell you what, our top team in our league, that would be huge for him if you could have him back. But because if he suffers any more injuries, he might get himself knocked out of the first round.
Yeah.
But Dan, thank you for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure. Always have fun.
Yeah. You guys know you can find me on Twitter at Mackie_FFB. Hey, we got another question real quick. Gibson or Diggs PPR? I love Antonio Gibson this week.
Yeah, me too.
I love Stephon Diggs as a Bills fan, but going against J.C. Jackson and that Patriots defense in what should be a bad weather game, I don't expect the game to be very high scoring.
That's the player that Belichick's going to try to take out of the game.
I honestly think him and Dawson Knox are going to be the two guys that they really, really focus on not allowing them to beat them. Like they're going to say, I don't care about anybody else. You do not let Stephon Diggs or Dawson Knox beat us. They saw, for a fact, Bill was watching that game on Thursday night against the Saints and saw what Dawson Knox did with his 2 touchdowns. His run after the catch, he's probably going to have a safety on him. I'm just not expecting a huge day from really anybody fantasy-wise, outside of maybe Josh Allen from that Bills game. For the Bills, anyways. Or just in general, that game might be 17-14, and it's just ugly football for 4 quarters. And Antonio Gibson against the Raiders, I mean, the Raiders having McKissick out. Las Vegas is the 30th, giving up the third most points in PPR to running backs. No McKissick.
Could he be the RB1 this week?
He's got a shot if they give him that same workload.
Finally.
I'll tell you. The only problem I see with Washington is going through injuries and stuff. They have 3 offensive linemen. One's already ruled out. I haven't seen updates on whether – I should have seen something already, but Eric Flowers and Tyler Larson are both questionable. They should be announced already, but if they're missing all 3 of their offensive linemen, that would be a little bit of a skeptical thing to keep an eye on. You might have to take the upside of Diggs if they're missing all 3. Eric Flowers is like one of the top 10 rated offensive linemen according to PFF as of right now. And Tyler Larson is up there in run blocking, but he's not a very effective pass blocker. So if they have to drop down 3 offensive linemen against Max Crosby and company, that would be a little bit more of a nervous scenario. But for me, the workload that Gibson should see, he should see 25 plus touches today.
Easily,
so
yeah.
I'm gonna go with Gibson.
Yeah, me too.
All right, there you have it. I'm gonna get off here before I get any more questions, and I can't set my 37 freaking lineups. But yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Mackie_FFB. Feel free to send me any questions, concerns in the DMs, or you're welcome. Feel free to send me any questions, comments, concerns, start questions, anything like that in the DMs, or I'll post a thing here on Twitter here in a second when we get off here. You guys send me questions on there. I try to answer them. I can't promise anything because there are a lot of times that I miss it or I'm setting my own lineups and I forget to look at my phone or whatever. But feel free to send that if I get to you. I will gladly answer it. If not, I apologize, and I'll likely answer it in hindsight after I see it. So, yeah, thanks for coming, Dan. Thank you guys for all the questions, and we will see you later. Dan, if you want to hang out for a second after we're done here, you can.
All right, guys. Yeah, good luck, and good luck this week. Hopefully you guys get into the playoffs. Hopefully this is your week to get in, and I hope you guys get in.